So what did such and such? You be like, did you watch the class at all? So we can't be to the point of where we're saying, well, maybe I went too far over the top and they just didn't get it. So a lot of times we teach from certain perspective, but a lot of times we have to see what the people are asking, saying, this is how I'm able to comprehend. So we doing a class today on this is what we've been hearing a lot. Where do I start when you come in this walk? How do I get started? Do I start in Genesis 1? Do I read the complete book and then do I go get me some lost books and read them all the way through? No, all you did was some novel reading. If you didn't got through one of these in one sitting, that's all you did was some reading. No understanding, just reading. And Eliezer left the man of Sodom with the judge, and he went his way. And the kings of the earth, what did you get? Y'all just get anything? It's the same thing if you speed read. Every word you don't understand, you have to stop and look it up. And then move forward. If you don't, you're going to get left behind because you're assuming that word means that. Brother did a very good class on word understanding. So, y'all, you cannot move to the next verse until you understand the previous verse. Y'all, and that's where we get to where do I start. But before we get started, y'all, anybody got any questions or concerns, anything on your heart, mind, and soul? You got something out? Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, y'all keep the family of our beloved elder Ozell.
Yes, sir.
Oldest Hebrew in St. Louis. He passed away on Wednesday. A lot of y'all know O up in here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
His family and y'all prayers. Also the family of our brother Kador, who laid his mother to rest on Monday last week. So Ozell passed Wednesday. Kador's mother was buried Monday. So, you know, you keep these brothers' families in your prayers. You know?
Yes, sir. And sister put out a lot of information for Ozell, his wake and funeral coming up next week. Go ahead,
and
man.
our sister Shonda, y'all know Shonda.
Yeah.
She had, went up under the blade this week as well. So last week was hectic, man. This week, should I say, because I ain't even over it yet. Right. This week was hectic. You know what I'm saying? So you keep your family lifted up in prayer.
Yeah.
Prayer is powerful, prayer comforts.
That's right.
Somebody got some more.
Go
ahead, she wrote.
Same thing here. I just lost a brother. They said I was told he committed suicide, but I was just he was diagnosed a couple of years ago and told with bipolar depression, schizophrenia, but I don't think he committed suicide. You know, it's not right. Even though like I just committed, he from Detroit, so you know it's wild and crazy up there.
Yes, sir, y'all. We got a lot of loose spirits out here, y'all. That's why we have to understand this is spiritual warfare. Now, you may not see no pistols hanging out or no swords. If you expect that, then you're not understanding. That's secondary work. This right here, like she's saying, you can't battle that with a sword or a pistol if it get crazy up here. If it get troublesome up here. You can't lay down and sleep if this is confused or it's troubled. It's a wringing of the hands. And it may lead one to grab a weapon or something and do something to themselves, y'all, because you have to understand it's a lot of demonic influence out here, and it'll gain hold and grab a foothold inside of your temple if you're not sober. And sober means, y'all, being aware of your surroundings. I don't mean you can't enjoy a glass of wine or, you know, some other forms of libation. But if it take the awareness away, you're going too far. You're going too far. If somebody say the Messiah outside now, either it's going to be the truth but if you are not aware of that when they say that, ask him, can he come back around when he circled the block? Because you're not ready. That ain't happening. We got to get this oil in our lamps, y'all. So that when night come, y'all, we're able to see our way. So with that, y'all, anybody got any questions, concerns on their mind? Anything on your heart, mind, or soul before we get rolling? What you got, nephew? Yeah. The Levites. Well, at that time, Because Jacob was, when that was Issachar passing away, we were well into Egypt at that time. He probably was, how old was Issachar? Issachar may have been, what, 16, 17, 18 years when we went into Egypt, and he was about 120 something when he was giving up the ghost. So we were still in Egypt. These are just deathbed, passing the inheritance down to his sons. Is that what you were asking? Who was the priest at the time? At that time, we had no priestly structure. We knew who Levi and Aaron was. We knew the Levitical, but an established priesthood was not set up in Egypt. How we commonly know today is kind of like today. They were in the same exact situation till we got reschooled. And when we come out, then Levi was set in a certain position. Yeah, he was already prophesied to be moved in that position. But until the order was set and instructions were given, then where do I start? They started at Mount Sinai as far as the reteaching was concerned, moved through the wilderness, heading toward the promised land. Just like now, y'all, we're in the wilderness of the people, trying to get back to Mount Zion. Back to the Garden of Eden, y'all, is where we're trying to head to. So we got any other questions, brother? Ask your question? Yeah. What you got, Sister Kim?
Which is the book of Yeshua supposed to be read with the Old Testament or the New Testament?
Hold 1 second. Short leggers. Short leggers class. See Sister Crystal right there? Hold your hand up, Sister Crystal. There she is. Short leggers.
They doing Passover rehearsal.
So if y'all in the Passover rehearsal class.
So if y'all child is part of the Passover program, that's what that's about. And we're doing Passover rehearsal.
Anybody got any other questions or concerns before we get rolling? Anything on your heart, mind, and soul? What you got, sis? If you could speak just a little bit louder, sir.
My daughter is here.
Where your daughter at?
Right here.
Hold your hand up, daughter. Where you at? Huh? Let us see your face, daughter.
All good.
Yeah, you around family. You around family.
That's the problem. She doesn't believe in this. She doesn't believe in me trying to convert over. That's why I come at the YouTube thing. And she is like totally against it. And in my house now, it's like a division. And I can't have it.
Right.
And I'm trying to ask the brothers, all you guys, if there's any way that you guys know of that I can, or what I can do to try to at least get her to listen.
Well, this is a perfect class today because we're going to hit all of that even belief, because that's where you got to start. So all instructions that's coming out today will be for that. But you have to understand, sister, if she don't want to hear it and she got a wall up there, we cannot force her to hear it. All we can do is deliver the message. Nobody can do that. But sis, we just want you to understand this truth down here. Any question you got or why you don't believe it, we'll answer that question for you, Most High willing.
That's right.
But if you just feel in this way, there's certain rules we have to keep, because we can't have what we call negative spirit energy when we are on this course. So all we ask you, young lady, is to just open your mind up for just a second. If you hear something that don't make no sense, do like this and tell us why it don't make sense, and then we'll explain it again, because we're just talking about the book of life. We're not talking about religion down here. This ain't Christian, this ain't Baptist, this ain't none of that. This book don't teach that. It teach about the nations of the world and the chosen nation. Now, you're in these prophecies whether you want to believe it or not. You're not going to get the same treatment that the other nations get. And you can believe everything else, but it's all going to come back to her why you in the situation you in. So we're not going to point out you or point at you like all of these questions are for you. They're for everybody And this is where do I start? So we're going to show you where to start today as well. Definitely. Anybody got any other questions? Mal, you got something?
Yeah, also dealing with the prophet Micah chapter 7 and also the gospel, Matthew chapter 10. Messiah gave us warning, so even for the elder, the adult, that there will be division because of the truth concerning household.
That's right.
We got this fabrication in our mind that my entire family is going to accept this. It's contrary to what the scripture says.
That's right.
So just so you can prepare your mind. You feel me? Because even the Messiah, he had brothers. When you read John the 7th chapter, he had brothers that didn't believe him. Right. You feel me? Like, if you who you say you are, show yourself to the world. You read John 7 verse 1 through 7. And he was like, look, the world hate me because I testify that the works of the world are evil. It accepts you, but it don't accept me. You feel me? And then the next verse said, for neither did his brothers believe in him. They didn't believe on him or in him. You understand? So that's for you too to understand that part of this walk is there will be separation and division. You say, well, why? Why you separate your clean clothes from your dirty clothes?
Uh-oh.
Feel me? Why you put your children in time out when they act up? You see, it's all you make decisions of separation every day of your life.
Yes, sir.
You brush that stinking mouth in the morning. You wash them dirty clothes. You wash that breathing. You always are cleansing or separating what's clean from what's filthy. The righteous from the wicked. You make that choice all the time.
That's right.
Feel me? And you go in your closet and choose what you're going to put on for the day. So you constantly making decisions yourself. You understand? So it's going to be a separation. Everybody is not going to get it. You understand? Now we pray the Most High open her mind up that she will receive this knowledge. And that her light turn on. You understand? But if say your grandmother don't want to accept it, or your spouse don't want to accept it, you have to be in this thing to the casket drop.
That's right.
Life. It don't matter who don't like it. I gotta serve my God. And I'd rather have the whole entire world mad at me than the Heavenly Father. You understand? So that's just for you, so you can, you know what I'm saying, be comfortable.
So that goes back to Matthew where they told her that your brother and your mother are not ready to see you.
Yeah.
And he said, who go on?
Matthew 12.
Absolutely, sir.
Those that do the will of my Father.
Right.
Yeah, so I'll praise.
Look, because you have to understand that kingdom don't care about who's fighting against this. Either you're going to get down or you're going to lay down. Ooh. So that have to be clear to your children that you may not see them or they may not see you in the kingdom. But you won't feel hurt or pain because it's a righteous kingdom. If they ain't there, they wasn't worthy. If you there, all praises to the Most High. But you won't be worried about their righteous behavior because it's going to be fair judgment. Everybody gets an opportunity, y'all. And let me say this, bro, before I get to you. If the Most High don't put it to you visually like this, he'll come to you in a dream so no man or woman will have an excuse on Judgment Day. He'll tell you about him in his dream and it'll be clear as us sitting up here talking. And that, for anybody that went through slavery or different times where we couldn't bring out these or be caught. Yeah, this word was always, we always had a hidden pocket teaching the word. I don't care what slave movie you seen, you always see that little pocket teaching a certain group of them. But the Most High comes and visits us in our dreams and visions, and he tell you about him. It has to start inside out. That's what making all y'all down here today, because you've had enough of organized religion. And your soul is searching and is yearning and is looking for that connection. When you like plug in that internet wire and you see that screen come up, MSN or whatever your homepage, you like, I'm online. I'm online. You're going to get online the same way with this when you understand this versus being taught religion. Two different things. What you got, bro?
Felt like slavery didn't exist, so I started taking him around 28 and started showing him the facts. And he was like, well, in history, there's never been a slave ship ever found. There was never a slave ship proven to be brought ever to come over to America. And he was like, you look up things, and you would never see a slave ship that they speak of. I just wanted to know, is it, you know what I'm saying, is there anything in the biblically saying that they would maybe destroy those things or try to hide that type of evidence for us from knowing or anything of that sort?
Well, I mean, they said that about Egypt. The Egyptians said the same thing too. We ain't got no proof of that, but it's proof all in the Red Sea of photo imagery of chariots, the same dynasty period that's buried at the bottom of the Red Sea. But and that's a good thing because we're going to get into that part of belief today. But when you're talking about slave, then if you ain't got the ships, then regardless of what you're talking to, you're saying, well, we're going to eliminate the transportation part. So all them whips and beatings and photos they got, either that's a great job of photoshopping back in the 1700s. They had skills ain't been seen to this level. So I'm not so concerned about them ships. I'm concerned about the after product that fits prophecy.
Right.
So when you got whips on the back and you got Negroes for sale, when you got these disposed that's in here, that when you got a constitution that says we have to make amendments about slavery, when you read about the Civil War about slavery, then either all of that is a hoax and we just being punished for no reason by this group of people,
and they just
then there's no end game.
They just signed the bill commemorating 400 years of us being here.
But even if they don't believe that,
that's made up too.
What's your end game if ain't no slave ship found? What they got for you now?
Right.
What do they have for you?
Go ahead, bro. Who the one searching? Like, so you mean to tell me you done searched every ocean bed?
Right.
Like, so
right.
You don't even go down so far. They just found the Titanic.
Yeah.
What are you talking about with a slave ship? The same spot the Titanic is at.
Yeah. And then
they don't got me sitting up on display because you know this was
right.
Ship, right? Come on, man. Like if you ain't got to where it's tangible the way you gonna look at it, then for you to say they never existed means that you did some deep ocean exploring. Some deep or you done did you some deep ocean exploration. And the average Negro ain't did none of that. He ain't dug up a fossil.
That's right.
He don't know nothing about no archaeology. Like, look, you gotta be funded to do this type of stuff. You don't just get dropped off in the middle of Yemen somewhere with a pickaxe and say, start digging.
Right.
You feel me?
Right.
Look at Indiana Jones. He had to be financed and funded. You feel me? Government's gotta cooperate before you can just come over here on their land and start digging. You feel me? You gotta get the green light from some type of authority before you get the deep ocean diving. So the average Negro will tell you something ain't been found as if he's an archaeologist.
Right.
As if he ain't got the authority from some governments or something to get through his.
Ain't been nowhere.
It ain't happening.
Ain't been out the city limits.
And another thing though, we gotta take into consideration though, it was cargo ships. It wasn't only Negroes on the ships. Yeah. We had corn, alcohol, all kinds of other stuff. So you know what I'm saying? So so he looking for slave ships. No, look for merchant ships. Because that's where the Negroes is at, on the merchant ships.
That's right.
They're not even going deep into that. So come on.
And like I say, what we gonna do about slavery? It's proof all over about working for free from sun up to sundown.
Right, straight up.
So either you were here, and then which you gonna have to explain how you got here, because we ain't gonna do it for you. So we don't spend a lot of time with those things. We ask the after effect. So did slavery exist? Now if they go off on a tangent on that, then you know we wasting our time. You know it's the same thing. You know we get a lot of other things. Is that a salvational issue? You know, because it comes down to prophecy. And either we got here by force or we was already here and pushed into slavery. One or the other, but slavery existed. Hey, whoever denies slavery existed is a moron. I mean, you ain't nobody in here gonna sit here and be thinking, that brother owned to something. Did you hear that? He say that's actually, man, them extension cord whoopings. Black parents did that. No, we ain't gonna play no crazy games around here, y'all. We down here about truth and understanding. Let's start this off, y'all, in John 3:8. And y'all, and this is saying, where do I believe, y'all? So we want to get right to the points of what people talk about. How I know there's a God, but yet we hear you talking other things. You will talk about the weather and what they say it's supposed to be. Versus documented proof on record, verified by all your universities, who you going to and giving your money to, they verify. You hold up a degree. Look what I got. I earned my degree with all the writings that came from here. This is what they basing it off of. This is where all the discoveries come from. Because if you prove this wrong, then they can take over the world and have it forever. But they ain't never did. What they prove wrong is religion. Not the gospel of this book, the good news of this book. If it was, it would already be out there. Deception in the Bible, one-on-one. Those who claiming it use it more than they use their own, like the Muslims. How you quoting this more than your book? Every movie about the Muslim, you know your Bible, brother, you know your Bible, brother. How about, brother, you know your Quran, brother? Buddhist, you know your Buddha scroll. Why is y'all face up in here? How you gonna know what you despise? How is that possible? Let's get into this. John chapter 3, verse 8.
Excellent point. The book of John chapter 3.
And these are just some quick hitters for those who just asking questions about how do we know, and yet you accept something called the wind and you ain't never seen that.
Never seen. Wi-Fi. You never seen Wi-Fi?
Right.
You got internet, don't you?
Right.
You never seen Wi-Fi.
Where he at?
You seen some gravity?
Who know Wi-Fi? He wear gators. He got on a Kango. Where Wi-Fi at? Go ahead, bro.
The book of John chapter 3, verse 8. The wind bloweth where it listeth, and thou hearest the sound thereof, but canst not tell whence it cometh, and whither it goeth. So is everyone that is born of the Spirit.
So it asks the question, the wind come, you don't have no problem. If right now, I don't care if you didn't believe the Bible and you felt it, they'll tell you right, ooh, the wind is kind of high today. Where you get that from? Who rates on how high or low it is? So go ahead, man, read just a little bit more of that.
Verse 9. Nicodemus answered and said unto him, how can these things be? The Messiah answered and said unto him, art thou a master of Israel?
Is he a what?
A master of Israel.
Y'all understand what Nicodemus' level was at?
My Nicodemus.
A doctorate. Yes, sir.
Art thou a master of Israel?
Yeah.
And knowest not these things?
And knowest not these things. Ain't a theology school on this planet gonna help you out with truth. Because it's an absolute. You can't buy your way into this. I don't care what degrees they give you. They're going to teach you a curriculum and a religion that everybody, there's many ways to get to where this book says. This book says that's the opposite. There's only one road. It's only one way. Every other way, it'll call you a thief and a robber. So don't bring thief and robber doctrine around here. Go ahead, bro.
Verily, verily, I say unto thee,
Yep.
we speak that we do know, and testify that we have seen, and ye receive not our witness. If I have told you earthly things, and ye believe not, how shall ye believe if I tell you of heavenly things?
See, we're talking about belief. If we sit here discussing the wind topic, and you talking about how I know that's God, and you're sitting here talking about something you can't see, you feel it, you don't know which way it comes from. Who can point out the wind is coming from that way when the wind hit? The only wind you can point out and know which direction it's come from is that wind you pass in your shorts. I know what direction that came from. And you can't see it. If you can see it, it's some trouble. Get to the doctor.
Visible gas.
Hey, visible gas. Hey, look.
Visible gas, right?
Where you at on that, man?
That was in verse 12.
Okay, let's hit this Job 4 and 15. And y'all, we just establishing some of the questions that you gonna get.
Visible gas.
Well, y'all see them side effects from that medicine, that smooth music play. Sumasi-sa. You got trouble with your liver. And then they run through the side effects at lightning speed. Side hurt, hip hurt, foot hurt, toe hurt.
Liver damage.
Visible gas, yeah, coughing up blood. All to fix your liver.
May have blood and stool.
Right.
And then 6 months later, if anybody took dicrosamine,
Yeah.
Right.
Right. Y'all know it. Just listen to the commercial, y'all, and listen to what it says it helps repair versus what the harm and the side effects are. Y'all, it ain't no coincidence. There's a witch bowl on top of Walgreens with the richest Bruce spoon in there spinning around. The same one you see on Harry Potter and all of that. Same exact logo up there. But you don't once think about it, y'all. We understand sometimes you have to jumpstart the body back in shape after you done ruined it. Or maybe messed up or something happened. But after that, you got to do some self-healing and meditation and repairing. Because the body is designed to do that. Because you can't get hooked or dependent on a substance at Walgreens to deliver your health for you. It ain't gonna happen. It's gonna destroy something else.
Them pockets.
Yeah, that first. Go ahead.
Let's start that at 12, Daddy.
12, verse 12. Go ahead, brother.
Book of Job, chapter 4,
Yeah.
Yeah.
verse 12. Now we looking, everybody there? Wait till everybody get there. Terry first. We good? Job 4:12. Now a thing was secretly brought to me, and mine ear received a little thereof, in thoughts from the visions of the night.
Now the visions of the what?
The night.
See, y'all, you're going to have what's called dreams. I don't care what you believe in. Visions are going to come to you. This is the only book to deal with them visions and tell you how to deal with them. I don't care what other doctrine you find. They don't have expert dream witnesses. They suggest. They do what's called cold reads. They look at you. Gators on, Gucci belt, dope dealer. Address on Coke Grill, you got to be a dope dealer. So all of their questions gonna be from that. Niggas hating on you, right? When you're riding around in on the 24s, circling Coke Bridge and Goodfellow and Natural Bridge, they hating around there, ain't they? Yeah, they hate. Is it a fat boy? And you thinking, damn, everybody fat because all we do is eat with this dope money. We ain't got nothing else to do with it. So they cold reading and you feed them back the answers. But this prophecy, on this day, at this hour, at this second, this gonna happen. If you prove that didn't happen, what's written in here, we'll close it up, y'all, and everybody can hit to the parking lot. We'll call it a day. If you find void in this word, from Genesis to Revelation. Go ahead, man.
Now a thing was secretly brought to me, and my ear received a little thereof, in thoughts from the visions of the night, when deep sleep falleth on me.
When what happened?
Deep sleep falleth on me.
Okay.
Fear came upon me, and trembling, which made all my bones to shake. Then a spirit passed before my face. The hair of my flesh stood up. It stood still, but I could not discern the form thereof. An image was before mine eyes. There was silence, and I heard a voice saying.
So see, y'all, even when you're looking at it, and this is talking about a different subject, or we're talking about spirit, Most High, it could be an angel, could be the Most High, it could be a dark spirit, but they come in your dreams and it's saying, this is scaring me. I'm being terrified in my dream. What the world called nightmares. You can label it whatever you want to label it. But if it's up here the next morning and you got to get some correction about it, I'll look at your face the next morning like, man, what's wrong? That dream, it was so real. That's going to control every day of your life until you get an answer for it. You ain't going to be able to sleep. No sleep, no rest. The body will shut down because it can't function after that point. A virus is going to eat you alive. Go ahead, brother.
Verse 17. Shall mortal man be more just than the Most High? Shall a man be more pure than his maker?
So if we ever get to the point or you hear somebody questioning the Most High who made them and then beg for your life from him when you get in trouble, or you want to blame him who you didn't trust in because your child died, is that the only reason you was going to believe it? Or you didn't believe that he made you to where you can produce what he created yourself? You've been given that, but you want to get mad. Shall the clay tell the potter what to do?
That's right.
You gonna let your children tell you what to do?
Not only no.
Quit watching Leave It to Beaver. You ain't gonna never be able to tell a Hebrew parent, get out of my room. I done told you once. And they paying the note.
It's over for you.
No, this ain't the Brady Bunch. Go ahead, brother.
Verse 18. Behold, he put no trust in his servant, and his angels he charged with fire.
Y'all see what the Most High say? He say nothing. I'ma respect what I made like they made me. Like you can never get to the point to where you can think you can talk to your parents like y'all got the same date on y'all birth certificate. I don't care nothing because yours say 56 and mine say 67. Well, I care. And they gonna let you know how much they care.
11-year-old.
Hey, y'all, just saw it in the paper, a 10-year-old just had a baby. Y'all, because where we at, we're in a state that we don't understand how important it is for women to be modest in this time. Because it's not only just wild and out there what you see on TV. We got dark forces finna hit this earth, and they are looking for that woman or young girl with that mindset that's willing to take on anything.
Right.
Go ahead, bro.
Verse 19. How much less on them that dwell in houses of clay, whose foundation is in the dust, which are crushed before the moth. They are destroyed from morning to evening. They perish forever without any regard. Doeth not their excellency which is in them go away. They die even without wisdom.
Which is a terrible thing. You ain't got to believe in Judgment Day, but you see it happening. Yeah. You hear them little things that Hollywood throw in there. It's of biblical proportions. When you see tornadoes, earthquakes, anybody raise their hand when they heard it's of Quranic proportions? It's of Buddha proportions. It's of Egyptian proportions. No, everything they make movies out of is out of work.
Yeah, those guys don't get brought up when it's on the table like that. You don't even bring none of it up. Even the hardest cat, when he gets shot, he call on God.
Yeah, he do.
He gets shot calling the Lord. You see what I'm saying? That's when your soul knows who created it when you done talking. Because if it's on the table like that and everything's gonna go left field, what you doing calling on them? What you doing when you see a F5 tornado widening the state of Texas?
Right.
It ain't no nigga jokes. It ain't no
none of that.
Shooting the breeze. Who won the Super Bowl? You over there, oh Lord, Jesus, God, please. Because your soul bear witness to who created it, man. Stop the playing. Stop the funnies. You know good and well you're not calling on Amin-Ra, Horus, ISIS. You ain't calling on none of them when it get real. You've been diagnosed with a stage 4 cancer. So you ain't calling on those gods of Egypt, the gods of Hindu and Buddha. You ain't calling on them. The gods of Asia.
Right.
What about all the dragons they worshiping over there? Why you ain't calling them?
Right.
When it get real, everybody in every language calling the God of this body.
Yes, they do.
That should let you know what time it is. Because your soul knows who created it, man.
That's right.
Just what it is. He tell you in the Bible, all souls are mine. That's why when it get hectic, boy, and the knees get knocking, you cry out.
That's right.
Cry out. Just like that baby gonna cry with your baby. When that baby needs you, they cry out. Same way.
Absolutely, bro. Excellent point.
How you know it's a God? Let it get real for you. You'll know real quick.
Right.
Other than that, who you calling on? You say, well, I don't believe in God, I believe in myself. Why you don't call on yourself when it gets real?
Right. Absolutely.
Myself.
Right.
No, stop this. When it gets real.
Right. Where your writings at your instruction when it get real.
Yeah.
No, it'll be just like Dave Chappelle when keeping it real gone wrong. But y'all, we're not saying these things to scare you or do anything like that. We're just saying if you holler that out, that's not happenstance. That's within you. Hollering for help. That's why prayer, when we started out, your hands is like this, like a child. When you done fed them, they do like, you know what they want, pick me up. I just want to be comforted. And then they lay, all they got to do is lay their head on your shoulders. You through at that point. Oh, babe.
Daddy baby.
Right.
Yeah.
Same way for your big baby. Oh, babe. Let's move on, y'all.
Where you want to go, bro?
Let's hit that Mark 16:1, y'all. And we're just covering these things, and then we're going to get into the lesson itself of where do I start, y'all, because it's rules to the game, y'all, and we have to start. And I'm not calling, I'm just saying the game from a perspective of a language we understand. The Bible has to be broke down by its rules. You cannot use the rules of another book. You can't use the rules of your grandmother. Like sis just said, when they said, your mama and them out there, he like, who my mom? Who my dad? Whoever believe in the Most High in this belief is my brother and my sister and my mom and my daddy, because we're talking about what's going to be in the kingdom. Your mother, your brother may not make it if they don't believe. So we're talking kingdom talk. That's what the Messiah was talking. Who was his brothers? Who on the team? Them my brothers. If you got on the bus, you on the team. If you got left, you ain't on the team. Plain and simple. Go ahead, bro.
We're in the book of Mark, chapter 16.
Yeah, start at verse 1, yeah.
Verse 1.
What I got, huh?
People got Matthew up there.
Mark.
Yeah, Mark. Yeah.
Mark.
My bad, fam.
Get out. Get out.
So Mark 16.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. The book of Mark, chapter 16, verse 1. And when the Sabbath was past, Mary Magdalene and Mary, the mother of James and Salome, had bought sweet spices, that they might come and anoint him. And very early in the morning, the first day of the week, they came unto the sepulchre at the rising of the sun.
So this is Mary and them want to anoint the Messiah or get him ready, so to speak, for his burial. And it's the first day of the week. What's the first day of the week on every calendar in the world? Sunday. So what would be the seventh day of the week?
Today.
So we got what they call in this world Good Friday coming. Now I say he was in the grave 3 days and 3 nights.
Matthew 12:40. Right.
So I got what my mama called me and told me if I bring them home again, it's going to be trouble. I got a lot of damn fools in math, D's and F's. Don't bring me no more damn fools home. What you sitting up in there for? But I know from Friday to Sunday ain't 3 days and 3 nights.
Early Sunday is that. Early Sunday.
Early Sunday. Right. Go ahead, bro.
Verse 3. And they said among themselves, who shall roll us away the stone from the door of the sepulchre? And when they looked, they saw that the stone was rolled away, for it was very great. And entering into the sepulchre, they saw a young man sitting on the right side, clothed in a long white garment.
What was he clothed in?
In a long white garment.
Right.
And they were affrighted. And he saith unto them, be not affrighted, Ye seek Yeshua of Nazareth, which was crucified.
Which was what?
Which was crucified. He is risen. He is not here. Behold the place where they laid him.
Now, either you believe that or you don't. But if you don't believe that, you're wasting your time in this walk. Because if he didn't rise after the crucifixion, we wasted our time. This, y'all, is where belief got to start. You got to believe that he made that sacrifice to us, or we need to be getting some turtle doves, some lambs, some sheep, and doing some sacrificing for our sinning. Even atheists will let the word sin come out of their mouth. And what is sin called? What is sin?
Transgression of the law.
Transgression of what?
The law.
Whose law?
Yah's law.
So, how can you have sin and don't know where it came from, or let it come out of your mouth and then find out it came out of the Bible? What, you think you can change the meaning of stealing now? Because it came out of the Bible? The nations got the same laws. Put your hand in somebody's purse or in the cash register and ain't none of that money yours. And see if the law is the same. Go ahead, bro.
We're in verse 7. But go your way, tell his disciples and Peter that he goeth before you into Galilee. There shall ye see him, as he said unto you. And they went out quickly and fled from the sepulchre, for they trembled and were amazed. Neither said they anything to any man, for they were afraid.
So, y'all, they are witnessing the prophecy that we have to believe and never seen, because the scripts say, blessed are they that believe and have not seen.
That's right.
Y'all, we ain't seen none of them. We ain't seen none of them miracles, but y'all, we have to believe that this word is true, because ain't nobody proved it false yet. It's our witnesses. If you don't believe the one in this Bible, there's enough Greek writings out there that'll tell you the same thing. Right. They got writings about it in their halls of justice. Let's hold that. Just get to some more, just a couple more beliefs, y'all, and then I want to get into a little bit of the book of Asher and see beliefs and understand that even though Abraham was raised with Shia, he had questions like I know a lot of y'all got questions about this belief. Abraham had the same questions about the sun, the moon, and the stars. And he asked them questions, but there's always the Most High say, I'm going to bring you back to remembrance so you understand it's me who reign and rule. And that's who you believing in. Your help, the one you call on unconsciously when you in trouble.
You want to go?
Dan, can I
go ahead,
share
bro.
this 1 Corinthians
Yes, sir.
15, a few verses in there?
Absolutely, bro.
About the resurrection, for anyone that want to discount the resurrection.
Yes, sir.
This right here is 1 Corinthians 15. I'm going to read verses 1 through 8. 1 through 8. 1 Corinthians 15, verse 1 through 8. Moreover, brethren, I declare to you the gospel which I preached unto you, which also you have received, and wherein ye stand, by which also ye are saved, if you keep in memory what I preached unto you, unless ye have believed in vain. For I delivered unto you first of all that which I also received. How that the Messiah died for our sins according to the scriptures.
See, you hear what he say he delivered to you? He delivered what we receive, y'all. Y'all, that's seeking another wealth. I'm going to give you what I got so that you can understand, so you can give it to somebody else. Y'all, that's how it works. You got to be able, and that'll let you know if you turn on the light on somebody else. I got it. I gave it away. Go ahead, man.
And that he was buried, and that he rose again the third day, according to the scripture.
According to the what?
The scripture.
And
that he was seen of Cephas, then of the 12. And that he was seen of above 500 brethren at once, of whom the greater part remain unto this present, but some have fallen asleep.
See, y'all see that 500, this on record all over. Now, we hear people say they done seen Elvis and Tupac, but we ain't got one witness legitimately. Huh? Tupac in Cuba. Right. Elvis
in Vegas.
Yeah. Y'all seen him. Couple people done seen Michael Jackson. Right.
Yeah. But dealing with the resurrection of the Messiah, it wasn't an isolated event. Over 500 people saw it.
That's right.
So you got on record 500 people testifying that he resurrected. So in what courtroom would that be discounted? How do you discount 500 people that have the same exact vision and story? That's an impossibility. How do you 2,000 years later say, no, that didn't happen? I don't believe that. I don't like the fact that it's written like that.
That's right.
I don't like mosquitoes, but they exist.
That's right.
Right? I believe I like honey buns, but they don't make them healthy.
That's right.
What you like and dislike got nothing to do with the truth.
That's absolutely right, bro.
I just don't like the way that ain't got nothing to do with it. I don't like mosquitoes, like I said, but that don't mean mosquitoes don't exist. How do you discount 500 people verifying? Yeah, I saw them too. I saw there's more people than everybody down there. 500 people walked in here right now with the same vision and story, like, yeah. Now how do you 2,000 years after the fact discount that? That's oh man, I don't like that. They lying. You feel me? Well, look, you can get emotional all you want in court. That don't hold up though. You said, Judge, I'm telling you that evidence is false. He's like, look, you getting mad and hit this table ain't got nothing to do with the evidence that's in the record.
Just hit that little plus.
The record say over 500 people saw him. You feel me? At once. You say 2,000 years later, oh no, that didn't happen. No. Who do we believe?
Nah.
You feel me? Like how do you go around there 2,000 years later saying it never happened when it's 500 witnesses and all you need is 2 or 3 of them to establish a fact? We got over 500.
Okay, now move it over here.
Also, y'all write down Psalm 16, verse 8 through 10.
Yeah.
That was the prophecy about the resurrection. David himself. David prophesied about the resurrection.
That's right.
Saying he would be left to suffer corruption. But we all know David did. There ain't no scriptures about David resurrecting out the grave. So who was David prophesying about? That's Psalm 16, verses 8 through 10, or 8 through to the last verse.
That's right.
You see, David was in spirit prophesying about the resurrection of the Messiah. And he lived 1,000 years before he was even born. You feel me? So either David was talking about himself in Psalm 16, right? Or he was prophesying about the Messiah's resurrection. And if David was talking about himself, he's a liar.
That's right.
So David ain't on no record nowhere resurrected. Ain't no 500 people say King David resurrected. Yeah, that's serious. All right, go ahead, bro. I just wanted to...
No, you good. So, look, and bro had Matthew 16:1 up there was correct. That was me. I had Mark 16, but we definitely wanted to go to Matthew 16:1, so we'll hit that. The Mark 1 was good. It was on there, but Matthew 16:1 was another one concerning day-to-day events where the Most High talks about nature trains you. He said, I even put my laws into nature. Now, I want y'all to understand where our mindset as a people to go. We understand there's laws of physics, right? They'll argue that there has to be certain laws to make something work, positive, negative, or whatever energies are pulling. There's laws of nature. Everything that happens with the seasons, the nature never breaks its rank. There's going to be winter, summer, fall, all the seasons. They come every year and you count on them every year. Every year you count on them. Separate your clothes by those seasons. Those seasons are obeying what they were told to do. Now, why should you worship the sun or moon when they're given orders and told what to do? So then again, you're worshiping something that was created by the Creator, and you take his glory away and give it to one of his creations. Not that he ain't authorized, I should say. Go ahead, bro. Let's hit that Matthew 16:1.
Okay.
And then I want to get into them Second Thessalonians. No, we're going to get into that jazz shit in very few minutes here.
Going to be reading from the book of Matthew, chapter 16. We'll start at verse 1.
Yes, sir. And y'all, modern day Pharisees are people that question these scriptures, y'all. Y'all may look at them like, oh, maybe they got to have on robes and different things. But these are people that doubt resurrection. They doubt the spiritual world because it haven't personally dealt with them, but it has and called visions and dreams. And you want to tell somebody about that spiritual world, but they might think you crazy. If I was telling you I was flying over a cliff in Mount Hebron and I saw these things, we ain't gonna deny it. But the script just say, if you did, write it down. Because if you lying, we got a lying remedy for you. Go ahead, brother.
Reading in the book of Matthew, chapter 16, verse 1.
What it say?
The Pharisees also with the Sadducees came, and tempting desired him that he would show them a sign from heaven.
So, tempting him. These are the so-called lawmen back then, tempting him. With what? Good or evil? What y'all think they tempting him with? Go ahead, bro.
Verse 2. He answered and said unto them, when it is evening, ye say, it will be fair weather, for the sky is red.
What the sky is?
The sky is red.
See, y'all talk that language, you can discern the sky. You done seen red skies enough to know, oh, it's going to be a cool night tonight. We can let the windows up. Let some fresh air in. Go ahead, bro.
Verse 3. And in the morning, it will be foul weather today, for the sky is red and lowering. Wow. O ye hypocrites, ye can discern the face of the sky, but can ye not discern the signs of the times? So, y'all can tell when it's red, or like they say, it's going to be foul weather in the morning. But you can't see Sodom and Gomorrah right in front of your face. You want to look the other direction. Why? You don't want to believe prophecy? Or that just may be a coincidence. I know y'all saw in the Daily Mail the one boy that the one lady was drunk in Vegas laying on the sidewalk. And a Hebrew mounted her in public and kissing on her while she's drunk laying on the sidewalk, and ain't nobody getting them off of her. They filming it in broad daylight. It's sex robots out here that's flying off the shelves. They can't keep up with the orders. And y'all don't want to see these signs coming. Right. You see a White House administration crumbling before your eyes. And Donald Trump defending somebody now that they just had to boot out because he went to Ike Turner University.
He showed defending him, ain't what?
Oh, his women sitting up there with black eyes.
He went to Ike Turner.
Yeah. He tried to lie first. Oh, that's just, they failed.
Oh, Lord.
On both eyes. What do you tell a woman with two black eyes? Nothing. She done been told already twice. And this in the White House. But yet, you don't want to believe this. Go ahead, bro.
Okay.
The evidence is all around you. At the end. You understand? And you can read the weather all day though. That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
You go out there and smell it. I smell rain coming.
Yeah. You can smell it coming. But yet you can't see the judgment of the Most High coming. Right. Go ahead, man.
The book of Matthew, chapter 16, verse 4. A wicked and adulterous generation seeketh after a sign, And there shall no sign be given unto them, but the sign of the prophet Jonas. And he left them and departed.
See, so he said the only sign y'all gonna get about truth is like Jonah was in the belly of the whale 3 days. That's what's gonna happen with me and the earth. That's gonna be the sign. Anybody else coming with anything different, don't even believe it. You're wasting your time. And you'll see them try to spin their wheels to justify somebody being in the ground or on display for 4 or 5 days. No resurrection, but yet they'll scramble and fight because they don't want to believe this, because technically, really, some part of you love this wicked kingdom.
That's right.
And really don't want to see it go.
Yep.
Not just yet. I ain't old enough. I want it to go when I'm so broke down and I go through a 12-pack of Depends in an hour. That's when I want it to go. Go ahead, bro. Where we at? We finished with that?
With verse 5.
Yeah.
And when his disciples were come to the other side, they had forgotten to take bread. And Yeshua said unto them, take heed and beware of the leaven of the Pharisees and of the Sadducees.
Now you see how he immediately, when they start talking about being hunger, he put them right back on spiritual bread and tell them what the additives of hunger really is that's causing you to swell up and not understand. Go ahead, bro.
And they reasoned among themselves, saying, it is because we have taken no bread. Which when Yeshua perceived, he said unto them, O ye of little faith, why reason ye among yourselves, because ye have brought no bread?
You think this whole time you think we've been talking about physical things. Y'all see, that's what all the other nations and doctrine teach. Physical, discipline, stand up straight, stick your chest out, get some stripes on your sleeve. Ain't nothing wrong with discipline. But when we're talking about spiritual things that they can't give an answer for, they'll send you to the dark side to get an answer. Miss Rudolph in cahoots with them. Every major religious event have some prophet coming from somewhere. I got a word for you. What's the word? You're going to get that call. That's the word from God. And we in the days of Sodom and Gomorrah, and you talking about a vehicle? This the prophet y'all that brought in here, and you want us to dig deeper for. Your hand plunged down to your elbow in your front pocket, looking for a few extra shekels to get his charlotte. Go ahead, bro.
Verse 9. Do ye not yet understand? Neither remember the 5 loaves of the 5,000, and how many baskets ye took up? Neither the 7 loaves of the 4,000, and how many baskets ye took up? How is it that ye do not understand that I spake it not to you concerning bread, that ye should be aware of the leaven of the Pharisees and of the Sadducees? Then understood they how that he bade them not beware of the leaven of bread, but of the doctrine of the Pharisees and of the Sadducees.
See, and that's what you have to beware of. The common everyday doctrine out here is full of tricks and games. If you're not aware of that, you're going to be caught and ensnared in a trap. So y'all, we're going to get to the heart of it. Where do I start with this understanding? How do I get started? And all of us in here probably went to church, Baptist, Pentecostals. We got them all in here. Everybody know who been. And your soul is seeking truth. If it wasn't, you wouldn't be here. You would be waiting to go to church tomorrow. But your soul is yearning for that connection that's going to connect you with the Father. First Thessalonians chapter 2. Y'all, we just going to hit a couple on belief, that 1 Timothy 4, and then we're going to get into the book of Sirach, y'all, because it's something very important. It said Abraham believed. And y'all, The Most High was looking for a lot of people, and he said, Abraham, it's going to be you. So y'all, we need to understand Abraham's mindset, that it was no different from our mindset. First Thessalonians chapter 2, we start at 13, I'll bag it up, we'll read a couple of them. Then First Tim chapter 4, we start about 6, and then I want to just get right into the spiritual armor so we know what we have to have on to fight a battle that carnal weapons can't do nothing with.
First Thessalonians chapter 2. Start at verse 11.
Sir.
As ye know.
Hold on, let me catch up. Y'all there?
You ain't there.
I was just gonna
right.
say.
Huh?
All right.
Yes, sir. You found out, oh boy. Go ahead.
First Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 11. As ye know how we exhorted and comforted the change every one of you.
In charge.
And charge every one of you. As a father does his children.
As a who?
As a father does his children.
Yo, you see how the disciples are charging as a father does his children. When you see children taking over a house, it done went the other way around, y'all. So when this language talk, it talk about the hierarchy and who's in charge and what's in charge. As a father do his children. Go ahead, bro.
That ye would walk worthy of Yahweh, who hath called you unto his kingdom and glory. For this cause also thank we Yahweh without ceasing, because when ye received the word of Yahweh, which ye heard of us, ye received it not as the word of men.
Not as the word of who?
As the word of men.
See, y'all, when you receive it as the word of men, it's going to be opinionated. Y'all, the 10 commandments going to become the 10 suggestions. Or the 10 how I feel about it. If you receive it of men. Because men ain't going to want to tell you, get yourself together. Because it may be some respected persons there. Or they may be doing the same thing, so they don't want to say nothing. Y'all, when sin on the table, whether it's involving you or not, you better say something about it. Because that's what put it in your heart to make you stop. Because if you telling somebody else to stop what you doing, then the stopping practice ought to be well with you. Go ahead, bro.
Ye receive it not as the word of men, but as it is in the truth, the word of Yahweh, which effectually worketh also in you that believe.
See, it only gonna work in you that believe. Y'all, there's no reason to keep arguing with somebody that don't believe this script. You got to come out the gate and ask them before we even get started. Okay, let me explain how we get started with this. Where do I start? First thing we do you believe what's written in here? If they say, well, not everything, why? You first got to know what you're working with if you're dealing with a group of people. Why don't you believe it? We get that matter cleared up, okay. Now, if we're going to use this after that point, after we clear that up, there's rules we must play by. Everything must be established by 2 witnesses. Meaning there must be 2 scriptures that paint the same exact picture about the same exact subject matter. You can't give me a scripture about Aaron's beard all running down and then go quote David and Bathsheba having their way. And you're trying to make a point. How? Yo, it has to paint the same picture or it's going to get opinionated on you. And you're going to lose it because everybody at that point going to have their own opinion. Perfect example, just give me a little bit of Jeremiah 31:31 and Hebrews 8:8, just so y'all understand what we're talking about, and then we're going to continue on. because I want to get in this book of Jasher about Abraham's mindset. Hit that for me just a little bit. And one of y'all grab that Hebrews 8 and 8. 31, yeah. Y'all see a lot of talk out there about the new covenant. All y'all in here done heard about the new covenant at church. Ain't you? Who ain't heard about the new covenant? Have it ever been once explained to you where it's at in the Bible and read it to you? I'm just asking, have y'all, anybody in there heard the new we're under the new covenant. Have they ever told you chapter and verse where they're under a new covenant at? Anybody? But the Bible speaks of a new covenant. What you got out there, LC?
Now spoke on it one time. Jeremiah 31.
Yeah.
He did that one time.
Yes, sir.
Well, I heard it.
If it wasn't in here, you wouldn't know about a new covenant. But these are church people telling you they're under a covenant. A covenant is a document with a set of rules and regulations. I'm just waiting to see a rule and regulation that you're going to do in heaven, the kingdom of heaven, what we doing down here. You think you're going to be making it rain in the kingdom of heaven? You think it's true what Tupac said to his partner Cato that got killed? Cato, keep it popping up there for me. In the kingdom of heaven. Go ahead, bro. Who got that?
Jeremiah chapter 31, verse 31. Behold, the days come.
The days what?
The days come.
Is that future or past tense?
Future.
Go ahead, bro.
Saith the Lord, that I will make a new covenant.
A what?
A new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah.
With the house of Israel and the house of Judah. Has anybody in here seen at church with the house of New Mount Tabor, with the house of Creflo Dollar, with the house of, what's the boy kind of look like Porky and Pig a little bit? TD Snakes. Have y'all seen any in here about organized religion that he gonna make a new covenant with? He said the house of Israel and the house of Judah. So either that's been broke down to spiritual religious churches, or it's talking about those same 12 tribes that the promise given to Abraham through Isaac, through Jacob, through those 12 tribes. One of the two. You got to make up your mind what you want to believe. Go ahead, bro.
Not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day that I took them by the hand to bring them out of the land of Egypt. So
we're not talking about the covenant on Mount Sinai, so to speak, with under Aaron and the schoolmaster. With high priest come a covenant. It's not talking about the laws, not that covenant. It's talking about who was in charge of the laws. He made that covenant with Aaron and Moses to spread it forth to us. But it's going to be a new covenant coming. Who's going to be the high priest of that? Not your pastor? Go ahead, bro.
Which my covenant they break.
Which that covenant they what?
They break. Although I was a husbandman unto them, saith the Lord. But this shall be the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel. After those days, saith the Lord, I will put my law in their inward parts.
What are you going to do?
Put my law in their inward parts.
Do y'all understand why it's so hard for organized religion to talk about this new covenant and the word law is tied to it? When Creflo and TD Jakes tell you the law is done away with. So they have to come up with a covenant that's lawless. And they can explain those covenants. You can eat whatever you want. You can do whatever you want on those covenants because they don't include law. What you saying, sis? Explain yourself so we can get it clear.
Please, I was always taught we're not under the law. children of the grace.
Right.
And now I'm here and I'm listening to you, and you're saying that it's not that way.
It's not that way?
It's not that way.
So, what do you understand grace to be? No, I'm just saying, what does that mean? So, I mean, like if you always heard that, there had to be an explanation that's saying, you got a set of laws here say don't steal, don't kill, don't commit adultery, don't rob your neighbor, do your neighbor as yourself. And now you got grace. What were you taught that that meant? That means, that overrides everything you just said yes to. What does grace mean? Huh? That's what they say it means? So you have forgiveness, both past and future. So the question was never asked why we in church then? I mean, do you have to be in church to receive grace? So they're wasting their time tomorrow ironing clothes and getting up going out. Technically. They have to fellowship. If they don't, what happens? Everything else is in vain. So those are some form of a law or a rule. So grace has some rules. We just found that out. Grace. Rule number 1. Must fellowship to receive grace. That's what you were taught. Right? I'm understanding. So what I'm saying, is that a rule? Is that a suggestion? What does must fellowship mean? I'm saying that because you got a set of laws over here already that say we ain't doing that no more. Those had instructions. Grace now, to receive it, you must fellowship. So is that part? In what?
In faith.
No, in what? You said first. In order.
To the Lord.
What I'm asking you, you said in order. So what happens when things are in order? When things are in order, they're running smooth, right? Okay, so now we're on point now with what you think grace means, right? So grace just showed up after the Messiah, right? I mean, what you were taught about grace. Okay, so hold that, just hit a little bit of this Genesis while we run now. We're going to run through this, y'all, because it's very important on where do I start, because this is where the stumbling blocks at. Give me Genesis 9. We'll see what Noah found. 6 and 8. Right on the money, boy. Y'all see that? A boy sharp. Let's get some Genesis 6 and 8.
Yeah, still holding something.
Yeah, he's still holding that.
Yeah. No, just anywhere. You want that Genesis now?
Yeah. No, because we want to deal with just something letting her know.
Yeah, because you said a couple of things that I'm like, hey, and so we're still not supposed to eat everything.
No.
We're going to get to it. What we need to get to is the order of the law. If the laws are done away with, you don't have to worry about what you eat. What we're trying to establish is, does this grace allow you to free will? Or does it has a set of rules? And what we're trying to do is see what that set of rules is. So far you said you have to fellowship to be in order with it. Okay, so that has to be written somewhere. Okay, so we're gonna continue on because most people think grace just started in the New Testament. Go ahead. Genesis 6 and
8. It's the book of Genesis, chapter 6, verse 8.
No, start at verse 7.
chapter 6, verse 7. And the Most High said, I will destroy man whom I have created from the face of the earth, both man and beast, and the creeping thing, and the fowl of the air, for it repented me that I have made them.
Right.
But Noah found grace.
But what did Noah find?
But Noah found grace in the eyes of the Most High. These are the generations of Noah. Noah was a just man and perfect in his generations, and Noah walked with Yah.
So now that would be the key right here, because he found grace. And according to them grace rules, is this the fellowship you're talking about?
Yes.
With God, he was perfect in that walk to find grace. Okay, so
it stayed as judgment too.
Right. So
I'm gonna destroy everybody.
Yeah.
But Noah found grace. So a grace period, and a stay on execution or judgment. Eventually Noah died, and his sons and them died, but when the Most High brought the judgment, he was pardoned from their judgment at that point. Grace is a period to where you get an extension to do what's right. You get an extension on your bill. Grace period. You got to go to work here at 3 o'clock, but you got till 3:07 to clock in.
That's right.
Grace period, or you're late. You feel me? So grace is just an extension, favor, but an extension on judgment. You see what I'm saying? That's why it was good he started at verse 7, because it showed the judgment of the Most High. But Noah found grace. You feel me? Noah was spared that judgment because he was doing that which was justifiable in the eyes of the Most High.
That's right.
He was obedient. So grace doesn't mean that you got a free will or a free pass to break the commands of the Most High. You feel me? It's just like somebody being pardoned off death row, right? If you get a presidential pardon and you on death row, when you let back out to society, you can continue to murder. Or do you say, no, I'm gonna live the rest of my life and walk the straight and narrow path? I'm thankful that I was granted an extension or found favor to where I was let back out to society. You don't get off death row and go back to murder. You get off death row, you found grace and you walked the thin, narrow path. You feel me? To show that you appreciate that favor that you was given. So it's the same thing with the grace in the scripture. You feel me? Grace don't mean you're free to worship how you want, live how you want, eat what you want. That's what grace is about. Grace is that, no, you got time before Judgment Day to show your God that you are obedient to him. You feel me? You're thankful that he sent his son. You feel me? Showed us favor. That way we have a path back to the Almighty. That's what grace is. But grace is taught today that we ain't got to do that to be under grace. No. That's why you should do it even more, because you've been given favor in the eyes of the Most High and not been taken up off this earth or killed. An extension on judgment, because Judgment Day is still coming. You feel me? So the fact that you are still breathing, that's grace. Now, what do you do with that breath? Do you continue to be disobedient to the Most High, or do you say, look, I'm going to obey him? Right? And then look, there is no judgments, there's no penalties for obeying the Most High. Nobody can show you anything in the scripture where the Most High condemns you for obeying him. There is not one scripture to say, don't keep the commandments. There ain't a scripture in the Bible to say, like if you get on your blue letter or your Bible gateway, type in, don't keep the commandments. It's going to say 0 entries found. Right? Don't keep the law. 0 entries found. So there's a misunderstanding on priesthood and the administering of the law. That's what's going on. And for folks to leave that establishment and believe that they don't have to keep the commandments because they're under grace makes them even more of an enemy of the Most High. You feel me? Because you take his favor for granted.
Right.
That's right.
You're like, look, okay, we under grace, meaning I've been spared death, I'm gonna keep being evil. You feel me? That's the wrong understanding. I know my brother tells
you. Even in the formal sense, even when you talk about grace at the employment, that grace period doesn't null and void the rules and regulations of the contract in which you said you abide by for that job.
Right.
So that grace period of clocking in, whatever it may be, doesn't void the contract which you signed.
Does it run out? If they run your whole record.
By the rules and regulations in which you say you adhere to, even by that grace period. So if you continue to be late, guess what? You get fined. Because you voiding your contract.
Right.
Grace, man.
You use the grace period up.
Grace dried up.
You never got there at 7:59.
Never.
Never. It's 8:07. You taking the grace in on this one every time. Sooner or later, it's gonna run out because you know you under a grace period by how you walking at 8:06 swiftly. Because everybody else sitting down. And you're trying to walk swiftly. Get your hat off, get your gloves in your pocket, and get signed on. To be like everybody else.
They sure gonna jump in like they was there on time.
And then you explain the grace. Boy, bad one out there on 270. Bad one out there on 270. Every day? How do I know? Never mind. Right. No, I want to hit, yeah. No, yeah, I want to hit 7 and 1 while you're in this Genesis, because it's very important. Go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
It was my understanding, man, that when Jesus came and died and everything, that the grace that we were given was from basically from execution for committing our sins right here.
Okay, so one denomination did go a little bit deeper.
Yeah.
But
and then the laws weren't gone anywhere. We just got grace under the law. So instead of, if you committed adultery or something, instead of getting drugged out and getting stoned,
right,
you could be forgiven and get a chance to repent.
so, right, so what did you ever hear about law?
The law never went anywhere.
No, I'm saying, is that what they taught you?
Yeah.
That the law was still good and just?
Yeah.
So no stealing, no killing.
Right.
What denomination were you in?
That was not from a denomination.
Oh, okay, so we're not talking organized religion. See, and that's what we're talking about, that grace. Where you get that grace understanding from? Who's teaching that? Okay, so he said he got it from the scripture. So we understanding that. We're just trying to get it from a point, because first we heard that the grace that she was taught in organized religion said, the rule number 1, must fellowship. So we just went back in the Old Testament to show grace didn't just start in the New Testament before the world was destroyed. Again, the same warning that's in the New Testament before grace is given out. There's threats from the Most High of destruction and condemnation and fire on your rear end. But if you believe, grace will be there to get you through it. Enough time to get your mind right. But we're not taught how to get your mind right, because there's an oxymoron, meaning that one thing defeats the other. It's like you see an advertisement, jumbo shrimp. How? How is that possible? A whole lot of nothing. How are you so excited to go in there and give all your money for a whole lot of nothing? They're going to make something this small and call it jumbo. That's like Luther Vandross pre-Jenny Craig, and you calling him tiny. So you have to understand, sis, what we're trying to explain to you. If you're saying the law is still here, but in the same breath you're saying the law has been done away with, we're under grace. Even if that you use that concept, how do you get prepared for the time you have to get right? What is going to correct that? Because if the law is done away with, your grace period going to run out because you don't know how to get right. Do you know how not to steal? How? Where you learn that at? Where your mama learn? Where her mama learn? Huh? And when you get, okay, from who? Where he get it from? From who? What, did his father give us those way how to not put your hand on somebody's stuff? So I'm just getting to the point. If you go all the way back and you say grace is right here, and the rules that allow grace to work for you, you say they're done away with. How then do you not run out of grace? You ain't gonna never know how to get it right. The rules gonna be made up. It's gonna be, I must fellowship. So I'm in a company of people where everybody says the rules of God don't exist anymore. Well, if the law is done away with or nailed to the cross, or grace supersedes the law, then who are you fellowshipping with? And they all believe what?
It's lawless then.
It's a lawless fellowship.
That's a lawless fellowship. I don't know about that one.
So we're going to get deep into it, but 7 and 1 of this Genesis, because we run out of time. Go ahead. I want to get to that. Go ahead. 7 and 1. We ain't through with it yet. We almost. Go ahead. We got to hit that Roman. Yeah. Go ahead. See, we want you to be perfect in the understanding, so you can teach the next person and say, you know, I used to have that same thought about grace till I was reproved, and I want to share that with you. They're going to trust you. They're like, yeah, you done lost your grace. No, I've gained it even more, but let me show you, you're going to lose yours. Let's get it, 7 and 1.
Can we start that at 22 or verse 6?
Verse 6, yeah, we can. Yeah, because we're going to see something in here after Noah found grace that's coming to a law that they said was done away with. But we see grace here, and we don't see Mount Sinai yet, right? From all the way up here, from what you know about Adam to Noah, did you ever read anything in there like what you saw at Mount Sinai? You didn't? Thou shalt not murder, right? Who else was told that in the beginning? Who murdered in the beginning? Did he get a punishment? Why did he get a punishment? What?
Shed innocent blood.
Say it out loud. Huh? Oh, so the law was in the earth before Mount Sinai then. So it's the same killing in the same list. Thou shalt not kill. Same list in that. Same sacrifice. Abel rule said sacrifice sheep, ox, goat. What did Cain throw up there? That the Lord had no what? Respect for Cain's offering. So we got to set a priest offering to the Lord after Mount Sinai the same way, right? So this would be a priesthood that he's practicing because he's offering sacrifice. I'm talking about Abel. Way before Noah, he's offering a sacrifice to the Lord. And Cain is told, if you do right, you'll be shown favor. If you do right, what is right? When you send your children to school, you tell them, now you get on, get up, don't let me have to come up there, go in that school and do wrong. Do you instruct them like that? You tell them to do what? What does that mean? Obey the rules, right? Okay. Let's get 7 and 1, real quick math.
Book of Genesis.
Oh, she want to go back to verse 22 of the prior.
Genesis 6 and 22.
Okay.
Thus did Noah according
Very
to...
good, sis.
Huh?
No, just tell us a good backup on that one. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Genesis 6 and 22. Thus did Noah according to all that the Most High commanded him. So did he.
So what is a commandment? Let's get some dictionary work here. So we understand commandment. Is it a suggestion or an opinion?
It's a helpful hint.
Yeah. So y'all see, what we're trying to do is get to a point of where somebody saying something is done away with, but yet there's something superseding that you don't have to worry about doing that called right under that order. There's a new right way to do right.
fulfilled.
So, did he fulfill it?
Yes, he fulfilled it.
So after he fulfilled it, what does that mean at this point? Okay, so grace is taking the place of a fulfilled law. Okay, so the law has been fulfilled. We need them two words, fulfill and commandment. And since it's just Bible study down here, so we want you to be able to be accountable for the words that come out of your mouth, because you're speaking life and death. So life is all throughout the Bible, keep the commandments. We ain't seen yet, don't keep them. We hear people say, don't keep them. But that ain't in the word. It's being looked at like it's saying, don't keep them. Okay, go ahead, brother.
Commandment, well, commanded is 6680. To command, charge, give orders, lay charge, give charge to, order.
Orders. To give charge, orders. Get up and get that trash out, or it's going to be trouble. You understand what I'm saying? That's an order. That's a charge. You don't tell your children if you feel like it, and if it looks full, and if you stomp on it 4 times and it don't go below the level, then take it out. You tell them it's full, I smell a pamper in there, get it out the door. That's a commandment. And if it's in here when I come back home, is there penalties? Or is there hugs and kisses? It's stinking again. And you didn't take it out. You wait on me to get it, yeah? Your house, your trash can.
Oh, that's gonna be a problem.
You got what was the other word?
We got some more. Go ahead. And this is commanded out of the
No.
used in the English Bible to translate a number of Hebrew and Greek words meaning law.
Meaning what?
Meaning law. Ordinance, statute, word, judgment.
See, and this is why it's such a struggle for organized religion. It's because they're saying, this right here tells me I can come up and get in good graces with God with the thing that I just said don't exist no more. So what is that doing for you up here? So then we start to make up what sin is. You ain't supposed to drink, that's a sin. Is that a sin?
No.
According to the scripture.
What's the sin?
Getting drunk.
Can we say drinking may lead to sin? Living gonna lead to sin. Breathing oxygen gonna lead to sin. Breathing oxygen, if you alive and wake up, and what's up here? I'm going to commit a crime. You can't do that without breath in your body. So everything leads to sin if there's no commandments.
Ready? Right there.
The Tower of Babel was destroyed because they had one mindset, one fellowship, and to excel up to who made them and overpower him. Let's get some more in this. 7 and 1 of this Genesis.
Genesis 7 and 1. And the Most High said unto Noah, come thou and all thy house into the ark. For thee have I seen righteous.
Thee have I seen what?
Righteous.
Give me the definition of righteous. See, because grace is here. So now we're seeing why he received grace. So we're going to see if he still have to keep them rules, or do he just have to fellowship with the company on the ark. Okay. So the rules weren't fulfilled here. Now, I'm not asking you per se like I'm at you. I'm just asking, we're looking at the same situation here. We're talking about saved from destruction. And it says why you were saved from destruction and why I spared you and then spared them. Sodom and Gomorrah is before Mount Sinai, right? All of them people died for what? Mount Sinai is way down the road. Why did they die? For the acts they committed. What was the acts? What is Sodom? Huh? What is Sodom, y'all? Sodomy. What is it? Of the same sex.
But it's more than that.
It's more than that. Also, it was a hospitality problem. But they had street corner activity going on. Just like Vegas. But I'm saying, this before Mount Sinai.
Before Moses received the law and it was written down about the judgment of a man lying with a man or a woman on a woman, Sodom and Gomorrah was incinerated for their sexual immoral behavior. So obviously if they were judged by the Most High, the law was there for them not to do it. You feel me? They did it anyway and judgment came. That's what brothers going into when he keeps saying before Mount Sinai. Mount Sinai is where Moses received the 10 Commandments and the rest of the laws of the Most High that he got from the Most High and gave to Israel. So if judgment is taking place before that point, that means the law of God was in the earth, grace also was in the earth, salvation was in the earth, and judgment was in the earth. All that before Moses was even born. That's what the brother's going into every time you say before Mount Sinai. Because if that's the case, Cain would have never been guilty of murder. Right? Sodom and Gomorrah would have still been standing to this day, flourishing, even though they were sexually immoral. You feel me? And many others type things, like the Genesis 7 we in now, you're going to see something else that's written down by Moses, but before Moses. Because Noah lived before Moses, right? This right here, verse 2.
And this after grace.
Yeah.
And after being found just. Let's hear what the rules say.
Verse 2. Of every clean beast.
Of every what?
Clean beast. Thou shalt take to thee by sevens, the male and his female. And of the beasts that are not clean, by two, the male and his female. So, just give me Leviticus 11:1 real quick. Just so we can touch base on this. Somebody just grab it real quick. You see grace, you see salvation, spared from destruction. And even after salvation, you still got to be obedient and righteous. Dealing with the Most High. You feel me? It wouldn't be no different in the salvation that we looking for.
So you asked a question about eating. When we're talking about eat what you want. Here after grace, he received grace. He received grace. He received everything. And now he's being told how to separate animals. And they're giving the same titles as the law that Moses received. The words clean and unclean.
He said, let no man say is unclean.
Let no man say what God has cleansed, call thou unclean. So, right. Okay, hold down, y'all. Hold it down, y'all. Go ahead. Go ahead, sis, we listening. So you're speaking of Acts 10th chapter. Right. Right.
Okay, he gave it to him again. Okay, Peter got up on the line. But yet, still today, you say you're not supposed to eat pork, you're not supposed to eat like any fish that doesn't have
scales and things. Right.
And I don't think my mama knew that she wasn't supposed to eat no rabbit, because she just rabbit up.
Right.
But she wasn't supposed to eat no rabbit.
Right. So you're saying with that Acts 10 because he was shown beasts that you were told not to eat, told to eat.
Right.
So that was the understanding from Acts 10 that you received.
That we can eat it.
Okay. So that's good. Very good point. So we're going to hit that too. Go ahead and finish that 7 and 1, man.
I finished 7 and 1.
No, hit 73 too.
Verse 3.
Hold on. We're going to get to you. It says what we're trying to do is, what we want to establish is a law that was in the earth about clean and unclean, what you can't eat, before what Moses got a hold of. This is where I want your mindset to go. Moses, in the middle of the book at Mount Sinai, got rules. These rules, the church is now saying when Christ died on the cross, don't apply anymore. What we're asking is the rules from Genesis up to that point, do they apply anymore? Okay, so you're basing it off of the rules, what was in Acts 10. So the whole time that Peter was with the Messiah, and this years after the Messiah was resurrected, Peter said, even after that, you never told me I could eat anything. Nothing has come on these lips, common or unclean. So I'm only getting to this Genesis 7 so you understand what's clean and unclean. Because if you don't know what the law is, you still don't know what clean and unclean is to even explain it away when you're reading Acts 10. Because you don't know what's clean and unclean. What's clean that Peter was told, because he only saw the unclean, what would be clean? Where would you get the instruction? I'm talking about Peter. Rise, kill, and eat. I have never eaten anything unclean. Everything on that list was clean, right? I mean unclean. Right, and told to eat it. How would he know to differentiate after the Messiah what's unclean and what's clean? How did he make that determination off of that scripture? I mean, he's seeing the unclean. He's wise up here. He said it ain't never happened while the Messiah lived. So what changes that, or where are the rules that if you read Acts 10, and I'm asking you right now, what does clean mean? When he says, I ain't nothing unclean, what did he eat that was justified? What else? What kind of fish? Catfish? I'm asking you. Okay, how do you know that? Yeah. So you're saying scavenger is unclean, right? It's unclean, right? So it would be included in that list, Peter, rise, kill, and eat now. He could eat catfish now. Huh? You can eat unclean food. Okay, that's where we want to be. Finish that up, man. I just want to hit that too so we know about the fowls too. Because there's a difference in fowls.
Genesis 7:3, of fowls also of the earth, by sevens, the male and the female, to keep seed alive upon the face of all the earth.
So you always heard Noah took them on the ark 2 by 2. How does this say they went on the ark?
No, I've heard.
No, I'm just saying. How would we just read? How did it tell? He was instructed to bring them on the ark. The clean by how many numbers?
The clean 7 and the unclean by 2.
So 7 pairs of male and female sheep. 7 pairs. 2 pairs of pigs. So there's a wide range of 5 on the clean side getting on the ark. Okay, so Leviticus 11 and Deuteronomy 14 is in effect with Noah before Mount Sinai. Because we're talking clean and unclean. We're talking Peter all the way up in the 10th chapter, a couple years after the Messiah was crucified and rose on high. So we're back to the same discussion in Genesis about clean and unclean. So there was rules, right? So these are rules after grace. To keep what type of diet? We're going to get to Acts 10. I'm just trying to let you see something, sister, here, that after he found grace about being a just man, he was told, put the diet on the boat, clean and unclean. If Acts 10 is deleting that, is deleting the law twice. It's deleting it before Mount Sinai and it's deleting it after. So what are we left with? Eat what we want. Okay. Hold right there. What we're going to hit, y'all? Acts 10. Just want to hit that and take you to verse 28. And then we want you just to read verse 28 to see if the light clicks on for you. And that way we'll understand it. But just hit that Acts 10, y'all. We're going to move forward. We got what?
10 to 28.
Well, let's go.
There, I got it.
Oh, he did? Okay. Acts 10. We want to, so sister, this is what Bible study is about. It's so no holes or gaps is left open in your doctrine. If there is a hole, if we're bringing this to you and you're telling us, you're clearly stating the law, what Moses said was in the beginning before Mount Sinai. So murder is no different than what Moses was talking about, what the Most High said to Cain. Would you agree? Okay. Acts 10th chapter. Hit that for me, man. Just get to the part where rise, Peter, kill, and eat. Who got it?
Okay, yeah, I'm on. Acts chapter 10.
We just gonna get to the meat of it. Acts 10 and 10.
The book of
hit
Acts.
9. Hit verse 9, man.
The book of Acts chapter 10, verse 9.
What it say?
On the morrow, as they went on their journey and drew nigh unto the city, Peter went up upon the house to pray about the 6th hour.
About the what hour?
6th hour.
So about the 6th hour, you have 3 prayers according to the law. Prayers that you're supposed to keep daily: morning, noon, and evening. So what would be the 6th hour? If the day starts at 6 a.m., the morning, the daylight part of the day.
Noon.
12 noon, right? Okay, so he went up about the noon prayer time to pray. Go ahead. So what is he keeping from the Old Testament?
The order of prayer.
And when is this after who? After the crucifixion, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Let's read some more.
Verse 10. And he became very hungry and would have eaten, but while they made ready, he fell into a trance.
So while they're preparing the food, he fell into a trance or a vision, daydreaming. While he's praying, he went into his subconscious, into the supernatural realm. Go ahead, bro.
Verse 11. And he saw heaven open.
So we notice a supernatural vision, because what he see open?
Heaven open.
Go ahead.
And a certain vessel descended unto him, as it had been a great sheet, knit at the 4 corners, and let down to the earth, wherein were all manner of 4-footed beasts of the earth, and wild beasts, and creeping things, and fowls of the earth.
So we just read Noah, the fowls of the earth. He had to bring on 7 other clean fowls as well. So this is what he's seeing on there too. Unclean fowls. Go ahead.
Verse 13. And there came a voice to him, rise, Peter, kill and eat.
So right here, most preachers stop and close the book. Most do. I'm not saying all. Most do. If they can get away with it. Church, ain't no need us going no further. Now the Lord didn't say it. What y'all want me to do? Go against the Lord? No, Pastor, don't go against the Lord. Well, close your Bibles up. Sister Sarah's got a sumptuous ham dinner down there. And there's shrimp and catfish for every one of y'all. Who wants shrimp and catfish? The Lord said you hold your hands up. Get the Lord a hand for. Go ahead, bro.
Verse 14. But Peter said, not so, Lord.
So is Peter talking back to the Lord like your child will talk back to you? Huh? He is? No, I'm just asking. Okay, let's read some more.
For I have never.
I have what?
For I have never eaten anything that is common or unclean. And the voice spake unto him again the second time, what the Most High hath cleansed, that call not thou common.
What the Most High has cleansed, don't call it common. You can't call it unregular anymore. But he's saying, I have not eaten anything unclean. So it would have to be that either he heard the Messiah say, the day is coming when I shall be crucified, that everything's going away, and I will fulfill the law, and you get to eat what you really desire. Either that happened, or Peter never heard the Messiah say them words. that I can eat whatever I want, because he never let go of the practice. Let's read some more.
Verse 16.
What it say?
This was done thrice, and the vessel was received up again in the heaven.
Now this verse 17 has got some questions concerning this. Go ahead, bro.
Now, while Peter doubted in himself what this vision which he had seen should mean.
Now, he didn't doubt the Lord. Who did he doubt?
Himself.
See, this is a man that understands I would never doubt what the Lord is saying. I'm doubting me on my belief system. Did I go off somewhere? Did I miss it when he said we can eat unclean? Did I miss it? Is it me? He been gone over 3 years. Is it me? Have I been wasting my time? Have I been passing up good catfish and scrimps? Is it me? Go ahead, bro.
Behold, the men which were sent from Cornelius had made inquiry for Simon's house, and stood before the gate, and called and asked whether Simon, which was surnamed Peter, were lodged there. 19. While Peter thought on the vision.
What is Peter still doing? He's still in here and saying, wait a minute, did the law change? Did he tell me that? Is it me? How did I miss that? Was I asleep at that class? Go ahead.
The Spirit said unto him, behold, 3 men seek thee. Arise therefore, and get thee down, and go with them, doubting nothing.
Do what?
Doubting nothing.
Cut all your doubt. Go with them. Go ahead. So basically he said, quit all that what you thinking about right now. It's men at the door. Go with them and think about that later. Go ahead, bro.
For I have sent them. Then Peter went down to the men which were sent unto him from Cornelius, and said, behold, I am he whom ye seek. What is the cause wherefore ye have come? And they said, Cornelius, the centurion, a just man.
A what man?
Just man. And one that feareth God.
And what he do?
Feareth God. And of good report among all the nation of the Jews. Was warned from the Most High by an holy angel to send for thee into his house, and to hear words of thee. Then called he them in, and lodged them. And on the morrow Peter went away with them, and certain brethren from Joppa accompanied him. And the morrow after they entered into Caesarea, and Cornelius waited for them, and had called together his kinsmen and near friends.
Now Cornelius was from the Italian band. We read Acts 10:1. So this is an Italian Roman soldier, over 100 soldiers. They come into his house. And it says all the Israelites knew about how he loved the God of the Hebrews, this Italian Roman general. So Peter now, the angel said, you need to go talk to him. Go ahead, bro.
And as Peter was coming in, Cornelius met him and fell down at his feet and worshiped him. But Peter took him up, saying, stand up. I myself also am a man. And as he talked with him, he went in and found many that were come together. And he said unto them, ye know how that it is an unlawful thing for a man that is a Jew to keep company or come unto one of another nation.
Hold it right there. Now the conversation is everybody in here know about the Lord, because Cornelius, they devout. Everybody from the Jews vouching for him. This a Gentile know this word. Everybody's saying it. He said, but everybody in the law know how it's a common thing for Israelites to company with other nations on anything about this Bible. They're outsiders. Go ahead.
But the Most High have showed me.
Has showed you what?
But the Most High have showed me that I should not call any man common or unclean.
So what's the moral of the story, sister? What was the rise, kill, and eat about?
It was about a Jew and Gentile.
What about it?
That they are both the same.
That they're what?
They're both the same.
No, it didn't say the same. It says not to do what?
They're not unclean.
No.
They're together. They can be together.
Read it again. You read it to us.
Verse 28?
Yeah. Read 28 to us. I want you to see what the words are saying. Not to do what?
He told them not to call any man common or unclean.
So not to call them that. It didn't say no difference that they are equal to everybody. It said just don't call them that. Don't look at another human being and say, you unclean dog. Away with you, and you're reading the Bible.
And they believe in your God.
Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
The vision wasn't about eating unclean food. It was about accepting nations that would believe in your God. That's what it was about. And the preachers that Daniel brought up earlier never get you down to that verse 28. They stop at verse 13 for a reason. Because if you keep reading, you're going to see that whole vision was about accepting foreign nations as long as they believe in the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob.
Which was forbidden before. Because we had to get it first. And then them. But Peter still didn't do what? He didn't? Read on some more.
Well, it ain't here. It's when Paul came on the scene, but...
Hold on. What do you mean Peter didn't get it?
Because when you read on a little further, when Peter, he was sitting and talking with some people that were Gentiles. But his people, he got up and walked away from them. And Paul.
The Galatians you speak of. The Galatians you speak of. But
right.
we back to the point. The point being, the vision was never about you can eat what you want to eat.
No.
So has your understanding been correct?
Yes.
Because
on what the vision was about.
The rise, kill, and eat was about us accepting foreign nations as long as they believe in the God of Israel. That's what that's about. That vision was about accepting foreigners. Eating whatever you want.
Because that never comes back up in Acts 10 ever again, does it? So it don't say that. And then Peter, as they prepared, he summoned them to head to Red Lobster. That ain't in there.
Ordered a slab of baby backs.
Yeah. So this is what we want you to understand, how the language, once you keep reading and understand subject matter. Now, it may appear that Peter didn't get it because, but that was what we call peer pressure. Like some of y'all, when you get around preachers and they say, you know, she a Hebrew. I wasn't saying it like that. I wasn't saying it like that. That's all Peter did because of the force of the Hebrews that didn't want to accept other nations. So Peter was around them, and when they saw other nations and Peter got, it wasn't that when Peter was with Paul, it was when he was with other ones. That he was with them, yeah, man, them Gentiles, yeah, dog, ain't got no time for them. So Paul corrected that. You remember that vision you had. It still wasn't about meat. He corrected him about that. He said, when you get around your brother, you act like you don't know other nations. That's what that conversation was about. But it didn't have nothing to do with getting it. What he had to get was a respect of persons out of his system. And that's what the Most High was showing him. He said, whoever I show my word to, y'all ain't got nothing to say about it. Because I made y'all. I can make a rock do what y'all doing. Y'all ain't doing nothing special. Y'all ain't special. You niggas is sinners. If you hadn't to be my son, wouldn't be on that cross. What are y'all bragging about? I could do this with any other nation. And I'm going to show y'all. That's what the vision was about. But other men would not accept it. They wouldn't even accept him circumcising or walking with Timothy because he said he uncircumcised. They would actually, priests pull his robe up like this. And look, if he had the blunt tip, it's going to be problems. Y'all have to understand this. Y'all got freedom of religion here. Back then, it was life and death. They would put you to death, or somebody had to get busy circumcising right on the spot. And what Paul do? Took him and circumcised him. So, this same Paul, is he circumcising? But the law is gone. I'm talking about
he circumcised somebody.
Timothy. The same author you saying don't do it is doing it. What's wrong with that person? Is that person bipolar? Or is it us not understanding what Paul is trying to tell us? That's all what was happening with Peter in the vision. So, what did you want to hit? Did you want to hit that Romans 6?
Yeah, about grace, Romans 6.
Romans 6.
So
y'all, we ain't got long. We got about 20 more minutes.
So we see grace still doesn't give us a badge to go against the law of the Most High. It doesn't give us permission to do that. Grace is an extension on judgment. Since you got an extension or a pardon, live the rest of your life being obedient to the Most High. And also, grace don't allow us to eat whatever we want either. Because you even see Peter saying, not so, Lord, I ain't never ate nothing like that.
You understand that, Ken?
And he still doubting the vision. Until he finally rolled up on Cornelius, and Peter let it be known that vision I seen was about not calling men unclean. You understand? Well, it shows you they was being partial in the law anyway, because in the Torah it tells you one law is for you and a stranger that sojourn amongst you.
That's right.
That's so it ain't like it's nothing new. Torah tell you you can deal with a stranger as long as they are being obedient to your God.
That's right. So you understand one law for the stranger as well as Israel. Right. If y'all together, it's one law. That's why Cornelius was of good report among the Jews. He was keeping all the law. But he had to be trained by an Israelite because those are the rules. So it's not like to look down on somebody or you saying this. It's to accept who accepts God. But that don't push both of you like this in the eyes of God, only if you're keeping his commandments. But one still has what's called favor. All we're talking about is who has the favor. And we're going to hit a couple so you get that clear. And then I want to get right into this Sirach about Abraham, y'all, and we'll close out. But we have to go over this because, y'all, this is still a major issue in Israel about these laws and why what we're doing is taking her back before Mount Sinai of people being not keeping the law and being punished. Everybody that got drowned except Noah was drowned for what reason? For what? And what is sin? So that's what we're saying. This ain't nothing new with the Most High about punishing you for breaking his law. He has never gave you a pass. If he gave us a pass, then there should be no lake of fire. Is that correct? But is that written anywhere that there's no lake of fire? So then there's still judgment. And what are they going to be judged for? When you go to court, you be judged because of what? About what?
Breaking law.
What is wrongdoing, Carl? What do you mean when you say wrongdoing? Somebody out here tell me what wrongdoing means.
Breaking the ordinance.
Breaking the rule. You're doing wrong. So this land still says you can't steal. But yet they'll listen to this land say you can't steal versus what the Most High said you can't steal. They say we don't have to read that no more. Even the Big Ten. Creflo Dollar, you don't have to worry about any of that. But tithing is a law. Yet they go to Malachi 3:8 in the Old Testament and say non-tithers ought to be shot. Why? Would Creflo say that and the law is done away with? Tithing is a law according to Nehemiah 10, Numbers 18:36. Tithing is a law. It's commanded. You were commanded to tithe. Why didn't that leave with Christ as well? Why do they still tithe? What's the reason? Because I'm just marking down a few as we move along. What's the law on tithe that you heard at church? Huh? I ain't hear you. 10%? 10% about tithe. And they saying if you don't do this, what happens? Huh? No, I'm saying if you say I ain't tithing, what do the people say to them? When the plate come to them, man, get that on past me. What do the people say to them? I mean, what? Huh? What they say gonna happen to you? What? You gonna what? You the devil. So, all the laws were done away with except the tithing law. We got to exact it like the old law said. 10% of a cheerful giver now. Right. Hey, look, y'all, and y'all laughing, but this was being taught. Of a cheerful giver. So, but I want you to understand this, sis. So, cheerfully give 10%. So, if the light bill's due, the gas bill is due, the car note people chasing you, the mule thieves out in the parking lot, waiting to get your vehicle. And you give them 10%. So, would that be cheerful knowing? So, do they say that? Make sure everything is taken care of? Okay. So,
your faith is God is going to take care of this, and God is going to take care of that. All you got to do is pay your 10% like you're supposed to, and your faith in God makes you get on. Like, hey, you ought to recognize, look, I got to do.
Okay, so good you think that way. But let's hit this Romans 6, y'all. I don't want to get too far behind. Y'all, but we're just asking them questions because these are the questions going to be asked to y'all all the time. And y'all got to get in the head of what being put in their head so you know what war you're dealing with. If you can't figure out or go to this way, we're all in the same Bible. You just have to make them see what they were told not to look at anymore. Don't look at that. Don't you look at that. It's like when you got a certain age, boys, and your mother, when she finally tell you you can't watch her dress no more. Boy, turn your head. It's an age when she see you looking like you licking your eyebrows at her putting on her underwear. And she tell you turn your head. That means you can't be in there no more. Your look is different. Your look is different at your mama. You can't look at her dressing like this. Turn your head. And when you turn your head, that means you better not never come back in here no more like that. You're too old now. You have a different vision on what you see. It's not like Ken and Barbie anymore. Some things look different. They look real. Go ahead, bro. Hit that Romans 6, man. So we just gonna get this to deal with grace again.
6 and what? Where you want to start at?
Romans 6 and 1. What shall we say then? Shall we continue in sin?
Continue in what?
Sin.
What is sin? Should we continue in transgression of the law? Go ahead.
That grace may abound.
That what?
Grace may abound. God forbid.
God what?
God forbid.
What does that mean, y'all? That, if you saying it in them street terms, like she just said, H-E double hockey sticks. No.
Not only no.
To the no.
Go ahead, you gonna read some more of that, man?
God forbid. How shall we that are dead to sin live any longer therein?
So if you're dead to sin, meaning that you no longer break his laws, then what is the standard that you compare yourself to make sure you don't do that? What are you going to look at to say, so I don't continue in sin? Because if the law's done away with, you ain't got no other choice. You have nothing else to look at to say I can't continue in that. So either when grace comes, it wipes everything away. And at that point, what you no longer did, that was sin, transgression of the law, you can't live in it anymore. So commanded tithing, the rules of tithing, there's a law for it. If you go against the rules, you're not tithing according to the rules. Cheerful giver means the rules are set in place that makes me a cheerful giver. If it says upon my increase, increase come at tax time. Do I only give then? Increase come at when you get a raise. Right now there's no increase. There's more month than money. Light bill, gas bill, telephone. You got $1,200 worth of bills, and your paycheck with doing her on the side brings you up to $800. You $400 in the hole every month. So next month go to $800 you in the hole. Then the next month you $1,200. And then they say, that's because you ain't tithing. Well, you're not going to be cheerful at that because they done told you, if we don't get a portion of that $800 tomorrow, we coming and get that car you told the church that God bless you with. We coming and get that. And we going to pick it up out the church parking lot. You think the mule thieves care what a car at?
Not a gift from God.
That's his job. I come to get that mule.
This was a gift from God. You can't have it.
Man, was you finished with that?
Yeah.
So, you have to understand, sister, all we talking about. Let's hit the laws on numbers just so we get to understand real quick. Numbers, yeah. Numbers, what is it?
About what?
Just the law, paying the law, what the requirements was. It's Nehemiah 10:36 and Numbers 18. Tithing, I mean to say. Yeah, y'all know what I'm talking about. No, we're going to get to it in Hebrews 7, because everything you're reading, that what Paul is showing you, what Paul is trying to tell all of them, it didn't start in Mount Sinai. It started in the Garden of Eden and for mankind. But before that, it started in heaven. Because Satan was thrown out of where? For doing what? Huh? For fighting? For fighting. So fighting is not allowed in heaven. Fighting is not allowed in heaven. I mean, what rules say that?
I ain't seen no rules.
So it wouldn't be bad right now if I said, show me the rule that I can't just walk up and steal somebody in the kingdom, dislodge their jawbone and take their heifer. I'm just saying, would that be wrong? According to what? Ain't no law. Grace. We're going to hit some Romans 7 too for you. I just want them to hit that. Go ahead, Mal. With this
Now it's on rule, Numbers 18?
Yeah. Right to, let me get right to it. 20. Yeah, that's what I want. And then Nehemiah 10:36.
Numbers 18, 20?
Yeah.
So just because we under grace doesn't give us permission to break a law of God. Whether it's the food we eat or, you know what I'm saying, the morality or anything.
Hey, sister didn't hear you back.
Now we're going to Numbers 18, verse 20.
Verse 20.
Because what we're talking about, sister, is, not to cut you off, man, they say the laws were fulfilled. And all we're asking is, why don't that include tithing? The only way you wouldn't understand that is that you don't understand tithing was a law. Still it's a law. It's just not commanded. Tithing was for the children of Israel because Levi didn't work. Levi took care of the temple. So since they didn't have an ordinary job, 10% of what we did, if I made shoes, 10% of the shoes I made went to them so that they would have shoes. If you were a blacksmith, 10% of your work and labor that you did, you gave to the Levites. Iron or whatever you built for them came from that, and that was your tithing. You were commanded to do that. If you ran a business, you had to take care of who God was putting out there. Now, what they do is exact that same law of taking care of God's so-called man of God, but without the law. I'm saying, so how do they make you feel the same way about Aaron? Apply it to me, but I'm saying we through with that process.
No doubt.
Except for me.
In the Baptist church, where I was at, they consider themselves Gentiles.
So, well, they can't collect tithes anyway then. No Gentiles don't collect tithes in the body.
So does anybody understand that?
The fact you calling yourself a Gentile, null and void you from collecting tithes, period. They only went to the tribe of Levi, or the priest of the Most High, the Levites. Yeah.
Let's get it, man. Who got it? Numbers 18:20.
Reading in the book of Numbers, chapter 18, verse 20. And the Most High spake unto Aaron.
Who did he talk to?
To Aaron.
So who was Aaron? What was his job?
Priest.
What kind of priest?
High priest.
So this priest was on the level as high as you can get as a carnal man to the Messiah. He was the only one and his sons allowed to go behind that veil and go in there and offer the sins sacrifices first for who?
Himself.
And then for who?
Israel.
And he go behind there so many times a year. And then we read, because it tells you what was on the bottom of his robe, bonnets of bales. They shake that rope. He kicked back and ring, ding, ling, ling, ling. I'm still sacrificing. They shake it again, don't hear nothing back. They pull him out of there. He sacrificed for your sins first. But his hot sheet joint action, he didn't mention it. Let's go some more. Where we at?
Verse 20. And the Most High spake unto Aaron, thou shalt have no inheritance in their land, neither shalt thou have any part among them. I am thy part.
He is what?
Thy part, and thine inheritance among the children of Israel.
You see this commandment to Aaron the high priest? I'm your part. You separated from them. Go ahead.
And behold, I have given the children of Levi all the tenth in Israel for an inheritance, for their service which they serve, even the service of the tabernacle of the congregation.
See, so he said, because of y'all service, I'm giving y'all 10%. This is the same thing modern religion teaches. Because I get up every Sunday morning, I pass up football to teach y'all nothing for an hour and a half. I get a tenth. Where do you think he getting that from? Because it ain't in the New Testament. It is nowhere in there in the New Testament. Go ahead. Not from the order that they do it, because they're commanding with a percentage. A cheerful giver, there's no percentage. The Messiah say, he that have given 1 pence, the lady that cast in 2 pence. And it say the rest of them was cast in what? Much money. Y'all know what much money is? That was rain money up in there. But who he say gave the most? With how much? So we're not talking about commanded to a point that where you understand, you got to be willing to give because you believe it's for another work. The fatherless and the widows. Not for pastor to buy a Learjet and live in a $100,000 house on your dime.
That's not very much house.
Huh?
$100,000?
I was talking about his bathroom.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, where he spent most of his time getting primped up for church, practicing his well, man. Well, that ain't it. Well, yeah, that's it. That's gonna get him. That's gonna get him. Where we at?
We're in the book of Numbers, chapter 18, verse 22.
What it say?
Neither must the children of Israel henceforth come nigh the tabernacle of the congregation, lest they bear sin and die.
Verse 23.
But the Levites shall do the service of the tabernacle of the congregation, and they shall bear their iniquity. It shall be a statute.
A what?
A statute forever throughout your generations, that among the children of Israel they have no inheritance.
So you see, throughout their generations until it changes of the law of tithing. You understand, sis? So let's just, y'all read Nehemiah 10:36, it's going to say the same thing. But just to get to the heart of the matter, because I got 15 minutes, y'all. Just to get to the heart of the matter, Hebrews 7:1. So we'll see what tithing again preceded Mount Sinai. And we're going to see, was it a cheerful giver or was it commanded 10%? Unless it was free will. Understand this, y'all. We're not saying you don't have to tithe. But you're only commanded to give what your heart says I'm able to give. If that's 1%, then give 1%. If it's 99%, you got it like that, then give 99%. But you're not on the hook for 10 every first and third Sunday. Is every Sunday? What you got back there, Ring? Hold it down, y'all. Listen up. What it say? Read that for.
It say, starting 22. Thou shalt truly tithe all the increase of thy seed.
All the what?
The increase of thy seed. That the field bringeth forth year by year. And thou shalt eat before the Lord thy God in the place which he had chosen to place his name there. The tithe of thy corn, of thy wine, and of thine oil, and the firstlings of thy herd, and of thy flock, that thou mayest learn to fear the Lord thy God always.
Y'all see that word in there was called increase? Y'all, if there's no increase, you cannot give. The Most High don't want you to suffer behind his word. Then you have false suffering or false faith. You're saying I'm down at Reverend Rice because I gave the church all of my money and I couldn't stay there. They wouldn't let me live in there. Oral Roberts wouldn't let nobody come in that church, would he? Not Oral, why would that boy named to smile and preach?
Oh yeah,
Joel Osteen. They had to put him on blast to let the people up in there. But yet he's talking about giving, and all he got to give is a roof for 1 or 2 nights. He said, hell no, I saw the Superdome after they got through. Not in here.
Right. Won't be peeing in my pews.
Our rules say don't give back. That's what our rules say. No giving back. No American giver. No, the Indians didn't. They wasn't the one. They didn't have their fingers like this behind their back. It was the other one. The American giver. We're going to give you a contract and then we're going to take it back. The Indians didn't do that. They didn't say give us back what we agreed to. Somebody else did that. That's another misnomer. We got to be careful that you call somebody an Indian giver. That means you agree to something and take it back. Did the Indians ever do that? No. I mean, they're recorded. So why are we giving them that jacket?
Right. Because we in Babylon.
Where we at?
We're in the book of Hebrews,
Chapter 7, verse 1, y'all. And we're going to, y'all, but get to this Sirach while we got 15 minutes, y'all. We're going to get out of here.
The book of Hebrews, chapter 7, verse 1. For this Melchizedek, king of Salem, priest of the Most High Yah, who met Abraham returning from the slaughter of the king.
So we'll see it's talking about an event that happened in time. And the event is happening before Mount Sinai. So he wants you to get your mind straight. We back in the book of Genesis. Go ahead.
And blessed him.
And did what?
And blessed him. To whom also Abraham gave a 10th part of all.
Uh-oh. Hold on, ain't no priest here. This before Mount Sinai. It's a priest here, but he's after the order of Melchizedek. This ain't Mount Sinai. Could these preachers in these churches be talking about the order of Melchizedek with tithing? Have you ever heard the two put together? You have? You've heard a preacher in church say, y'all were tithing to me according to the way Abraham tithed to Melchizedek, the high priest, after the order of Melchizedek. Oh, okay, I thought you heard that. I would say we need to get over there, y'all. Right. We got some brethren over there. But you saying, no, it wasn't said like that. Okay, let's read some more.
To whom also Abraham gave a 10th part of all, first being by interpretation, king of righteousness.
King of what?
Of righteousness.
This who he gave a 10th to, the king of righteousness. What is righteousness? So he gave a 10th to a law-abiding citizen. But not only this, but it was to the king of righteousness. He gave a 10th. Voluntarily, or did he do it every week? Anybody know? How often did Abraham do this? How many times is he recorded that he did this? And why did he do it? Whose money was that he gave? Huh? Where'd he get that money? Huh? Was that out of his flocks?
No.
That wasn't out of his flocks?
It was his part of his increase.
Where did that increase come from? Did he keep any of that for himself? He gave the rest back to all them. He said, but this portion of the spoil, of the increase. You hit the lotto, pick 6 or whatever it is. Whatever it may be, you give a portion of that upon the increase. That's increase. That's stress reliever. That's Hank away from the front door reliever. See, old folks say that keep the Hanks away. They're green. It's a defense. Money is a defense, like Ecclesiastes tells us, but it's not a salvation tool. You can't buy the death angel away. When he's ordered, you can give him your PIN number. He didn't come for your PIN number. He come to deliver you either to Abraham's bosom, the other side of that gulf, or the holding spot for your soul to judgment. He's not coming for a PIN number. He don't care nothing about money. He don't get paid like that. Where we at?
King of righteousness, and after that also king of Salem, which is king of peace, without father, without mother, without descent, having neither beginning of days nor end of life, but made like unto the Son of Yah, abideth a priest continually.
So right here it says he ain't got no father, no mother. He's like unto the Son of Man. No beginning of days of ending. Well, in the book of Jasher, it say that high priest was Shem. Shem had a father and a mother. The Messiah, we know, had a father. Because he talked about it. Who's the only individual we know of that we never heard about his father or his mother or his beginning of days?
The ancient of days.
The Father.
I am that I am.
See, Christ is the priest after our Father's orders. The same orders he gave to Adam. He was a Melchizedek priest with orders. When we went into Egypt, we were stripped of our culture. We became Egyptians. Like now we're Gentiles and we say we're Americans. Stripped of our culture. But it's coming back again. But we can't go back to the schoolmaster. We can't go back the way where we already came. That means we're going to have to crucify the Messiah again. We can't go that route no more. One crucifixion. You can't put him back up there no more and say, now it's our turn, Lord. We can show you we'll be better than our forefathers. No, it's done. Now you're in the wilderness of the people. How to conduct yourself and do this walk with the same laws of no stealing, no killing, no robbing. And you're commanded in Hebrews 10 to fellowship with like-minded believers. So either you doing that with ones who don't have to keep the law, or you doing it with the ones that has to keep the law.
The law keeper.
And we know what it's like with the ones that don't keep the law. Everybody in this room know what it's like. You get prepared when you get ready to go to the party. Junior gonna be there. Oh Lord, not Junior. And he bringing them 3 bad chillins of his, Earl, Rufus, and Raymond. So you already know the whole drive you there. If he drink out of my drink, it's going to be trouble. If Raymond scuff my shoes again, how you going anywhere and you're getting prepared for violence?
Lawless fellowship.
It's lawless fellowship.
Even when you go out today, you may go stop through a little hole in the wall or whatever. You make sure you got your hammer on. You got your strap.
Why?
Because you know why? There's some lawlessness going down. You don't be up in there like it's all peaceful, it's all good. You know, we just shooting the breeze. You like, nah, it can go left field at any second going up in there. And you still look, you so insane, you still go.
Still go.
You put yourself right in the mix of it. Lawless fellowship ain't what the scriptures is talking about. You feel me? It's all about the covenant. The covenant of the Messiah. And look, the Messiah didn't die for a lawless covenant. The covenant has rules, regulations.
That's right.
Order. We keep saying here in order. Order is commands, rules. You feel me?
So in other words, we're saying that all of this stuff that's going on now with guns coming up in the churches is lawlessness.
What we're saying is anybody to say you don't have to keep the law, there's going to be lawlessness. I don't care what dress you put on. I don't care what hat the first lady put on. She could put on them like at the big hat club and I'm going to get you sucker. This big. But it's a bunch of sin up under that hat. It's lawlessness. If you say the law, we don't have to do that anymore. There has to either be another set of rules. Because grace, you said it, gives you time to get the law right in your heart. So that I'll never think about stealing no more. Paul said, let him that stole do what?
Steal no more.
Well, if it ain't no law, why would I pay attention to that?
Continue stealing.
I could be a thief.
Right. How do I give the police driver license that's got somebody else's picture on it? That I got out of somebody else's back pocket. You can do that with no law. You can eat whatever you want with no law. Don't you understand what they're saying is, everywhere you say I'm not supposed to eat that, I'm going to try to find a scripture that say I can do it. So now we got a battle of can't and can. But if you say I'm sanctified, filled with the Holy Ghost, I'm filled with righteousness, and I'm set apart. You're set apart from the law keepers.
Right.
Because this script tells you never say, I'm sanctified. It said if the righteous shall scarcely be saved, where does the
unrighteous and the sinner of birth?
If the law is done away with, why is Paul making that statement? It shouldn't be no separation. There's nothing to judge us. Why should I get in by the skin of my teeth? You keeping the law. Or is he saying only those who keep the law gonna get in by their skin of their teeth, but everybody who don't, it's a free will into the kingdom? It's got to be one or the other. Because if it don't make sense. Or Paul is bipolar. Read that last verse in Hebrews 5, 7 and 5.
7 and 5. The Hebrews chapter 7 verse 5. And verily, they that are the sons of Levi, who receive the office of the priesthood, have a commandment.
Have a what?
Have a commandment to take tithes of the people according to the law.
According to the what?
According to the law.
So tithing is a law? The same law that they say done away with, that they command you to get 10% or you won't prosper? You won't profit if you don't give the commanded law tithes.
Once a week at that. The tithe was given once a year at harvest time.
Let's read some more.
That is of their brethren.
Of their what?
Of their brethren, though they come out of the loins of Abraham.
So we see here, hit down to verse 9. Just hit verse 9.
Just 9 or hit down to it?
No, just go on down to 9. Just hit 9. Yeah.
But he whose descent is not counted from them.
No, verse 9.
Just verse 9, not down to it.
Yeah, just verse 9.
And as I may say so, or so say, Levi also, who receiveth tithes, paid tithes in Abraham. For he was yet in the loins of his father when Melchizedek met him.
So either the tithing rule is coming from Melchizedek because it said he preceded Levi. Levi wasn't born yet and Abraham was paying tithes. So what angle are they coming from? Either they coming from Melchizedek or they coming from a whole total new aspect that when somebody hears the new covenant, they need to get an explanation of its rules and who the high priest is. Because Christ is not part of that covenant. He's on record saying, I'm going to make a new covenant with y'all after these orders. And I'm going to write the laws where? In your heart. And your heart is really here first before it moves to here. If you move it here first, you're going to love out of concern and what you may think is right because you're doing it from your heart, this heart. But if you do it from this heart first, this is going to keep this one in check so that you don't give not accordingly. Like you can't bring a price of a dog into the house and give them that money. A pimp can't bring his whole money in there and put it on the altar. Wow. You can't bring the price of a dog in there. That's a pimp. That's why you call them dogs, lady. Right? You can't bring what you got from there, Hustle and Flow, the movie. He can't go to the church and put today's earnings in the pot. That's ill-gotten gain. You got it illegally. You got it against the rules. Can you bring cocaine money and put it in there? You can if you're in the Catholic Church. We'll call it about it. You understand what we're saying? So you have to, there's rules about giving. It's always been the rules. Once rules are broken, then they make the rules. And this ain't started. This started with Samuel's son. It said they took bribes. What you do? Oh, you didn't. What? Oh. They killed all of them last season for that same thing. I'm gonna have to put you on, what? Okay. I'll take all of that land of your inheritance, but it's gonna be much more than that now. You need some more. I want them 2 daughters of yours. And they took bribes. This way before we up here, that Israel was doing this behavior, hustling the same people. You can hold that. Romans 7. I just want to hit this, y'all. We're going to hit this Sirach and we're going to be out of here. Romans 7. Give me 7 right here, because this is either bipolarism at a highest level, and he need all of the Ritalin on the planet.
Yep, it's either that or he's not understanding what's being said.
One or the other, man.
One or the other.
You can't exact rules and then say they don't apply. If I just say I believe. If you believe, you're going to do the rules.
That's right. If you believe, you'll be obedient. You'll obey. Right.
Go at 7 and 1. We're going to read down to 7.
Romans chapter 7, verse 1.
Right.
Know ye not, brethren, for I speak to them that know the law.
That know what?
That know the law.
Why is Paul even in this conversation when grace is abounding? Let's read some more.
How that the law hath dominion over a man as long as he liveth.
As long as how old?
As he liveth.
Okay.
For the woman which hath an husband is bound by the law to her husband so long as he liveth. But if the husband be dead, she is loosed from the law of her husband.
So right here, you got a woman bound by the law by Paul. But where the laws come from to be bound by your husband? Where them laws at? What is she loose from if he dies? Because right now, Paul said what most say, grace removed us from the law. So how is this woman bound in the very next chapter? That was Romans 6. This Romans 7. So either all the men was let off and the woman was still bound by the law till her husband was dead. Where did Paul get this law from? Deuteronomy what? The law is clear. But there's multiple ways of a woman or a man to be dead. To a woman, you have to be complete on it. David was dead to his concubines because he couldn't service them no more, because Absalom had all 10 of them in the sight of Israel. Hit all his father's wives.
Should abandon me.
It was what the law calls a MF. The man that lieth with his father's wife has uncovered his father's nakedness. We call that term today, you black mother, for unlawful carnal knowledger. That's why F-U-C-K is always in capital letters. For unlawful carnal knowledge. Man, for unlawful carnal knowledge you up. For unlawful carnal knowledge you up. Do you understand what war has reduced it to? It's bad sexual behavior is how we determine how well the fight gonna go. Man, you black. Go ahead, bro, yeah.
Verse 3. So then, if, while her husband liveth, she be married to another man, she shall be called an adulteress. But if her husband be dead, she is free from that law, so that she is no adulteress, though she be married to another man.
So, what law are we talking about, and where did it come and grace on the scene? What law is this woman bound by? Paul either bipolar, Or he's meaning something totally different. Read some more of that.
Verse 4. Wherefore, my brethren, ye also are become dead to the law by the body of Christ, that ye should be married to another, even to him who is raised from the dead, that we should bring forth fruit unto Yah.
What was we bring forth?
Fruit unto Yah.
What is bringing forth fruit unto Yah? We know it wasn't what Cain did, because that's what he brought forth. He brought forth bananas and pears and potatoes. But that wasn't on the list. He said, you need to bring the offering that I said bring. Abel brought that offering. He said, why is your countenance falling? Because you want to bring the offering you want to bring. You're going to bring that dollar that won't go into the car wash machine and give it to the Lord. And keep spitting it back out. Oh, I give that one to the Lord. Where we at?
Verse 5. For when we are in the flesh, the motions of sin.
When we in the what?
Flesh. The motion of sins, which were by the law, did work our members to bring forth fruit unto death. But now we are delivered from the law, that being dead wherein we were held, that we should serve in newness of spirit, and not in the oldness of the letter.
There it is, church. I'm not going another step forward. You done seen it. What more do I have to do, church? Read the next verse, Pastor. Read the next verse.
What shall we say then? Is the law sin?
Is the law sin?
That's what Creflo Dollar teach. That's what he's on record saying it. The devil wants you to keep the law. The law is sin, even the Big Ten.
Go ahead, bro.
Yah forbid.
Yah what?
Yah forbid. Nay, I had not known sin, but by the law.
So how else you gonna know what sin is if it ain't for the law? How you gonna even control yourself in grace and you ain't got a clue what the law is? What are you being given an extension of time for if there's no law?
Right.
What is grace here for? Should I continue to sin that grace may abound?
God forbid.
God what?
Forbid.
So we see two forbiddings about the law. That something can replace it. Go ahead, bro.
For I had not known lust, except the law had said, thou shalt not covet.
So right here, thou shalt not covet. That's how I found out for lust is. Is lust in the world today, in church today?
Oh, yeah.
Do they talk about lust?
Yes.
Why do they talk about lust and it's a sin?
Because they lawless.
No, I'm just saying. Why do you tell somebody to stay away from it and it's part of the law? We're dead to sin. So if we do it, it don't count. Y'all think all them chillings on the front row because I cared about the law? Read some more.
Verse 8. But sin taking occasion by the commandment, wrought in me all manner of concupiscence.
Concupiscence.
Concupiscence. Look it up. We got concupiscence coming up on the 14th. Why do you think the word Cupid is tied to that arrow and love making? Look up concupiscence. Cupid gonna shoot you with an arrow on the 14th, y'all. Concupiscence coming. What is concupiscence talking about? Check yes or no if you like me.
Concupiscence is G 1939. Desire.
The what?
Desire. Craving.
What?
Wow.
Craving.
Wow.
Longing.
What?
longing, desires for what is forbidden, lust.
Desires for what is forbidden. And if you think that ain't gonna happen on the 14th, we all know better. A box of chocolates, a blunt, sunflower seeds, and a few roses. And a couple of roses. For lust. The Bible don't speak of roses because it's a thorn bush.
Right.
It speaks of lilies. The rose of Sharon is the lily. They smell so much better. Andre 3000 tried to tell you roses smell like what?
Boo boo. Boo boo.
Lilies is the rose of Sharon. Get some lilies up in the house and watch how they smell. You smell how them lilies smell? Okay. I'm gonna stop before the 14th. No. But y'all understand how we've been moved to unlawful lust. Thorn. If you tried to pick them, what's gonna happen? Oh, they're so proud. The stem would have been longer, but they stuck me right. Oh, baby, you wounded yourself for me. What am I think I'm gonna get? Some concupiscence. Some longing, desire. It's part of the rules of the world. On this night, you can't say no. You can't have no headache. Because concupiscence laws are established tonight. And you don't think the preacher tomorrow gonna pass out roses? We know what we do. We've been there. To all the mothers, here's one for you, and here's a concoction for you. They give them out. They're gonna give them out tomorrow to justify that commandment. But is the rose of Sharon gonna be given out? Lilies gonna be given out. You know when they give out lilies? At a funeral. This is how it turned 360 on us.
That's why.
Did we? Which says it?
That's why when babies are born, they all laugh. But you're supposed to cry. You're supposed to laugh when you go home back home. You're supposed to cry when you have a home boy. You're supposed to cry.
Well, we're supposed to mourn for the dead. And say you're going to weep, you're going to cry. But guess what? Joy cometh in the morning. You got to get in your mind you ain't going to never see that individual till the resurrection. They're not watching you playing basketball. They're not doing none of that. They're not clapping as you going across the stage. How in heaven and you're concerned with what's happening down here? How I get that diploma like this? Cheating off your paper. And she's in heaven like this? I know he was going to do it.
Clapping for unrighteousness.
That boy had it in him.
He's a good cheater.
I learned the hard way of that. The hard way. Vernon Dozier, A student. He do his paper like that. And when they passed it out, it was like this, and it had a circle on it, and it was red. And when he got his paper, it had this on it. And at that point, I knew he was tired of me copying off his paper. Didn't want to tell me, he showed me. Could I be mad? Yeah, I was mad. I had already been warned. Don't bring them damn fools home no more, D's and F. And here's another one. Let's read down to verse 12, y'all. We're going to hit that cigarette and get out of here. Go ahead.
Don't fix all that cheating.
Boy, fix me good. 7 and 9.
Yeah.
For I was alive without the law once.
Uh-huh.
But when the commandment came, sin revived, and I died. And the commandment, which was ordained to life, I found to be unto death.
Why is that? Paul is saying, look, the law killed me. Why would he say that? The law killed me. What taught me not to sin was a killer. Mama, you told me to watch and didn't take that trash out because the Lord will love me. That's some killer talk. Is that what Paul said? Let's read some more.
For sin, taking occasion by the commandment, deceived me, and by it slew me. Wherefore the law is holy.
What is the law?
Holy.
How can you say this in the verse before and say it in the next verse like this? Is Paul crazy? He said it slew me. And the next verse is holy? If y'all heard somebody say that, what would y'all call it?
Stay away from that.
Read some more.
Wherefore the law is holy, and the commandment holy, and just, and good. Was then that which is good made death unto me? Yah forbid.
There it is again. So every time you think in Paul say the law is done away with, he say God forbid. The problem is somebody ain't reading to that verse. That's the problem. The problem is they set you up for concupiscence. And you want it so bad that you don't want to see the law of lust. I done been to Jared's. I done been to Snooks. I done had balloons sent to her job. I done spent all my income tax money. I know it's going to be some concupiscence around there. And she tell you wait till Sports Center over, and then when you go in there, it's snowing, sound like lumberjacks in there. Dejected and walk back out. But see, you're playing the rules of the world, and they dictate to you when you can have relationships. But they want your mind full of concupiscence. And you're thinking of concupiscence. Things I'm going to be rewarded for this. But yet, guess what's going to happen on the 14th when you tell them we don't do Valentine's Day? Oh, got you a cheap bastard, don't you? I had a cheap bastard, though. But see, I got Earl now. He got a club foot and 2 of his fingers don't work, but he ain't cheap. Y'all know what's going to happen until both parties understand what this is. Now that y'all understand what the roles of sharing exist, show up with it every now and then. Need more than that.
Boaz right there.
Yo, this Bible study, she didn't know that he Hey! Boy, you had to get that comment. What's that? Phone? Oh, that's bad. Go ahead, boy. Go ahead. Yeah. She talking about Boaz and Ruth.
Yeah.
He said, let it get clear.
Reaction appeared and I was responding.
She not talking about Boaz and Naomi. She talking about Boaz and Ruth.
He's just gonna make it worse.
But that front row got the gangster blur in that room.
Boy. He let y'all know concupiscence was dead. Round this way. Yes, sir. But y'all, you see, sister, where it's going and how they stop and use one-liners until you read the matter itself. It's just a strong desire to want to break the law. So that's why it's saying the law is death to me, because I want to go against it and it's going to kill me. If I go with the grain, I can live. Why would I do Easter and I know the Passover is right here written in the Bible and Easter ain't? Except for the word in Acts 12:4 that means Passover when you look it up, because it say those were the days of unleavened bread. There's two Easters. One say Passover and the other one is the celebration of the fertility god. The fertility god show bunny rabbits. And eggs. And bunnies, when you see them, every commercial you see the bunnies, they multiplying, ain't they? How do you multiply?
Concupiscence.
What? I'll be saying that word all night.
But the Passover and its practices removes concupiscence because you have to get the what out? The leaven. That's right. So which one you gonna do? And look, the Passover this year falling on the 31st, the Good Friday falling on the 1st. So the 30th, they're gonna have Easter that Sunday and the Passover that Saturday. So once again, they're both together like the devil likes it. You choose your poison. Which one you gonna do?
That's crazy. Way back to back.
This one you gonna enjoy on the 31st. You gonna have a good time. You gonna fellowship. You gonna do this. This one, you gotta wear clothes that you really don't like. You got to give money that you ain't gave all year. You are going to show up and you ain't showed up all year, so you're going to be forced in there and you're going to be given money and forced to give it on that day.
Last time I went to church on Easter, they passed the plate 6 times.
There's a number on there.
Then my aunt asked me, you gonna come back? I said, no.
Need my money.
Hey!
It sure do.
Wow.
And what has the fool said in his heart?
There is no God. That's right.
So if there's no God, there's no law.
Right.
But this is what they see. When they pass it around 3 times, if this money ain't in there, Escalade. They keep seeing Pinto money in there. That's an old ride. Y'all don't know nothing about that. Old Nova. But it's this money that they want. Send them around again. And you have to dig deeper. To satisfy who? He pulled up in an almost Rolls Royce. You pull up in a Chevy, leaking oil, 3 hubcaps, missing. And you finna pay his note? Cheerfully.
Get that up.
Hey. Y'all, let's just hit these Syrax, y'all. I promise y'all we're gonna hit that. We had a few more on there, but we're gonna run out of time. I want to hit that Syrax. You got it up on, no, Jasher 9. And this is Abraham's thought, y'all. Jasher 9, I'm sorry. It's up on the board. He had it up there.
Sirach is up there too for Abraham. That Sirach there is Abraham too.
We can hit that then. Yeah. But y'all, if y'all got it, this is the book of Jasher, an additional book that gives us, look, everywhere in the Bible it tells us what other books we can study. This book is mentioned in 2 Samuel 1:18. Study out of the book of Jasher. It's also mentioned in Joshua chapter 10 verse 13 and 2 Timothy 3:8. This book gives us authority to study out of it. But you can be tricked into getting T.D. Jakes. Law keepers are damned. Get it for $10.95 and watch your life profit. And then you got all his books. And if you ask them about this book, the book of Jasher, we got Hebrews, couldn't even pronounce. Y'all reading out that Jasper. Y'all, it ain't only modern church, it's modern day Pharisees and Sadducee Israelites. Shabbat shalom, brother. That the Messiah was going against, like our modern day preachers that sit in Moses' seat, They charge you with the law to do right, but they themselves will not carry it with one finger. Anytime you tell somebody, this man is dying, and you tell them, wait till the Sabbath is over. That's a low down, dirty dog. The Messiah said it ain't gonna be so. Get up, man. Go home. Do you know they want to kill him about that? That same system is in place today. That says if you do right any other way than we're saying do wrong, you're no good to us.
Yeah.
Let's hit this right here, y'all. It's up on the board, y'all, if y'all don't have the book of Jasher. And we're going to jump in some spaces because didn't have time to do it all. So I'm going to have you just jump to verses. Y'all read the whole thing. Start at 9 and verse 10, man, through 20. Y'all, it's up on the board. Can y'all see that for? Can you bump it up another? I got a plus sign up there. Is that big enough for y'all? Yeah. One more time? See that plus? Yeah. And you can scroll over. You may get one more, man. Y'all think get one more before I go off the screen? Can you go over? See if you can go over a little bit. Y'all see that? A little bit more. Get the number off. Yeah, just one more. One lick. One more click. Yeah. Right there. Probably gonna have to drop in one there, man. Y'all, can y'all see that? Y'all ain't that bad. I see a lot of youngsters out there. Moses was 120 and could see that. From page. Jasher chapter 9. Man, hit start at verse 10 through 20. Y'all, Abraham became a believer, but he first had to get through what we talking about. Where do I start? Because you see so many things out there, and you saying, well, the sun makes sure we wake up in the morning, give us strength and make the crops grow. The sun is so powerful, why shouldn't it be God? Y'all ever seen a plant in shade? It will reach for the sun. It'll grow like this if it's under a building, to reach for the sun. Y'all ever seen a tree on a hill? It should grow out this way, right? But it grows, it reaches for the sun on the hill. It's reaching, and the Messiah is saying, I'm 10 times that in its strength. 10,000 times that in its strength, I should say. That was the light in Genesis 1 and 1 and 1 and 2. The sun and the moon weren't created till the 4th day. What is that like? Let's read some more. Where we at? Through 10, chapter 9, verse 10 through 20, man.
The book of Jasher, chapter 9, verse 10.
What it say?
And there was not a man found in those days in the whole earth who knew the Most High.
Y'all see that? This after the flood. Up to this point. When we talk about knowing, I'm talking about you got a relationship with the Most High. He speaks with you regularly. He used to talk to Saul regularly. He talked to David. He talked to Solomon. He'll talk to us in our sleep. He'll talk to us regularly. But at this point, it was slim. Go ahead, bro.
For they served each man his own God.
What they served?
His own God. Except Noah and his household. And all those who were under his counsel knew the Most High in those days.
See, so Ham knew the Most High before sin jumped right back in as soon as they got off the ark. For Ham uncovered the nakedness of his father. Y'all don't think that go with Leviticus 18?
That's right.
And 20, Leviticus 20:11, yeah. Deuteronomy 27 and 20, 1 Corinthians 5.
What? That's right.
Go ahead, bro.
And Abram, the son of Terah, was waxing great in those days in the house of Noah. And no man knew it. And the Most High was with him. And the Most High gave Abram an understanding heart.
What did he give him?
An understanding heart.
Go ahead.
And he knew all the works of that generation were vain.
Well, what?
Vain. And that all their gods were vain and were of no avail. And Abram saw the sun shining upon the earth. And Abram said unto himself, surely now this sun that shines upon the earth is the Most High, and him will I serve.
So y'all see, Abraham thought like we thought. He looking at that, he like, well, that's got to be God then. This is Abraham, y'all. Go ahead.
And Abram served the sun in that day, and he prayed to him. And when evening came, the sun set as usual. And Abram said within himself, surely this cannot be God.
Y'all see that? You see how sin was corrected? You see how he kept the law, right? Hit me real quick, Deuteronomy 4:19, real quick. So you understand what he didn't fall into. And keeping the law don't mean you ain't gonna never break them. It means you going to fix what you broke. That's keeping the law. That's how you keep the law. But if we tell anybody we don't sin, that's in 1 John 1:8. That's in Ezekiel 18. If we say we have no sin, we a liar. So it ain't like Abraham never sinned. Abraham corrected the thought of sin immediately. Hit that Deuteronomy 4:19. What did it say?
Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 19. And lest thou lift up thine eyes into heaven, and when thou seest the sun and the moon and the stars, even all the host of heaven, shouldest be driven to worship them and serve them, which the Lord thy God hath divided unto all nations under the whole heaven.
Go ahead.
But the Lord hath taken you and brought you forth out of the iron furnace, even out of Egypt, to be unto him a people of inheritance, as ye are in this day.
So he said, if you be driven to worship the sun or the moon, you ain't got nothing coming. I didn't command you to do that. So right here we seeing Abram actually did that. And then got his mind straight and say, the sun went down? No. How must serve something that disappears on me? Because it can't help me at night. Can any crops grow at night? So this is what made him realize that the God I serve, his light never goes out. It never goes down. He served me in my, well, he don't serve me, but he come to help me in my time of need, in my darkest hour, in my sleep, at night. Read some more of this, Jackson. We're going to get out of here.
Verse 15.
What it say?
And Abram still continued to speak within himself. Who is he who made the heavens and the earth? Who created upon earth? Where is he?
Where is he what?
Where is he?
Uh-huh.
And night darkened over him. And he lifted up his eyes toward the west, north, south, and east. And he saw that the sun had vanished from the earth, and the day became dark. And Abram saw the stars and moon before him, and he said, surely this is the God who created the whole earth, as well as man. And behold, these his servants are gods around him. And Abram served the moon and prayed to it all that night. And in the morning, when it was light, and the sun shone upon the earth as usual, Abram saw all the things that the Most High had made upon earth. And Abram said unto himself, surely these are not gods that made the earth and all mankind, but these are the servants of God.
What are they?
Servants of God. And Abram remained in the house of Noah, and there knew the Lord and his ways, and served the Lord all the days of his life. And all that generation forgot the Lord and served other gods of wood, stone, and rebelled all their days.
What did he do?
Rebelled all their days.
Go ahead.
20. And King Nimrod reigned securely, and all the earth was under his control, and all the earth was of one tongue and words of humor.
So we see at one time Nimrod of another out of Ham's line was keeping the word of the Lord at one time. But he got too big for his britches and wanted to build a Tower of Babel. That's where all the trouble came out. Skip right down to verse, let's see, go chapter 11, start about verse 23. Flip one over, man. Y'all, we ain't got long. We just got a couple verses, and we're going to be out of here. We're going to hit that Sirach too, y'all. We're going to be up.
Chapter 11?
Yeah.
How you just skip chapters on?
Just scroll on. You may have to scroll up. You was at the end of that chapter anyway. That only going to 39, so you can just scroll on up. You get right into it.
Chapter 10.
Yeah. Start about verse
chapter
11. I mean, chapter 11, verse 23. We're gonna hit a couple one-liners. Y'all read the whole chapter, but I just want to get to the heart of the matter. We're gonna hit verse 23, then we're gonna hit verse 29 to 31, And we're going to skip to 43 to 46. Shalom, sis. Watch that kill and eat, sister. Check out that Leviticus 11, Deuteronomy 14. And the major you must check out, Isaiah 66 and 15. It's the second coming. And the Most High say, He say, if you're eating swine at the second coming, I will destroy you.
I don't eat swine.
I'm just saying.
I'm just saying.
It's on the unclean list. That's all I was saying. Make sure you read for your extra ammunition at the second coming, because he say, if you greet me, hallelujah, and it smell like chitlins, it's going to be trouble. That's all I'm saying. Go ahead. Where we at?
What verse you say?
Verse 23. And we're going to jump down to 29 to 31 after you read that. What 23 say? Yeah.
Joshua 11, verse 23. And when Abram, here it is on the board.
Yeah.
And when Abram had gone from them, he went to his mother and sat before her, and he said to his mother, Behold, my father has shown me those who made heaven and earth, and all the sons of men. Now therefore hasten and fetch a kid from the flock, and make of it savory meat, that I may bring it to my father's gods as an offering for them to eat. Perhaps I may thereby become acceptable to them.
So Abraham told his mother, go cook the offering. My father showed me who God was. And they were statues. He had a bunch of them. A whole bunch of statues. And he said, I want to feed them and offer them an offering that you offer to God. Go ahead, bro.
And his mother did so when she fetched a kid and made savory meat thereof and brought it to Abram. And Abram took the savory meat from his mother and brought it before his father's gods. And he drew nigh to them that they might eat, until his father did not know of it. And Abram saw on that day, when he was sitting amongst them, that they had no voice.
They had no what?
Voice. No hearing.
See, crazy people say, I heard what? I don't care what they say. They still say, I heard something. Tell me something. Statues or idols don't say nothing. Who in here seen anything, or any statue on a church in front of anything say, man, that thing spoke to me? You ain't never heard of an idol speaking. Anybody ever heard the Christmas tree sing back to you? I mean, does it chime in, you old Christmas tree? Oh, and it chimes in, yes, that I am. I am silver and gold. Go ahead, bro.
26. And Abram saw on the day when he was sitting amongst them that they had no voice, no hearing, no motion, and not one of them could stretch forth his hand to eat. And Abram mocked them and said, surely the savory meat that I prepared has not pleased them. Or perhaps it was too little for them, and for that reason they would not eat. Therefore tomorrow I will prepare fresh savory meat, better and more plentiful than this, in order that I may see the result.
Now just skip over to verse 43, y'all, for time's sake. We're going to clear on out. Y'all read the whole thing, and you're going to see them going through a process. And y'all, they had a scheme going. Y'all, they actually had a trap door, and some of the priest's children would come up and eat the food and go back down through the trap door. And they'd be, all the gods accepted it. Boy, they got busy with them shanks. Go ahead, bro. 43 to 46. Won't go 42?
Where is it where he chopped them down? Here it is, verse 40.
Verse 40. Okay, now this is Abraham still listening to his daddy, y'all. So understand this. When y'all heard my daddy was a preacher and he taught me these things, well, Abraham's daddy was in like manner, a preacher, so to speak, and teaching him that idols was God. This Abraham's daddy, y'all. Do y'all understand when the Most High say, I bring variance? Y'all think that just was talking about our time? This Abraham and his daddy Terah, who was cool with Nimrod. Let's read some more, man.
Let's go back up, bro.
Yeah, because this is farther than that.
33,
31.
31.
31. Now, I'm starting verse 31. And it says, Joshua 11 and 31. It says, and in the evening of that day in that house, Abram was clothed with the Spirit of God.
What was he clothed with?
The Spirit of God.
So the Holy Spirit around here too? Y'all see ain't nothing changed. He's clothed with the Spirit of God. What's the difference in I'm filled with the Holy Ghost? Go ahead, man.
Verse 32. And he called out and said, woe unto my father and this wicked generation, whose hearts are all inclined to vanity, who serve these idols of wood and stone, which can neither eat, smell, hear, nor speak, who have mouths without speech, eyes without sight, ears without hearing, hands without feeling, and legs which cannot move. Like them are those that made them and that trust in them.
See, like them are those that made them. They can't speak, they can't talk, they can't move.
Mama.
What the matter, Boopy?
She over there trying to run a rough shot.
Oh, is she calling shots?
Yeah.
Oh.
She the leader.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
All right, verse 33. And when Abram saw all these things, his anger was kindled against his father.
Against who?
His father.
So now when the Messiah is talking about a father against his son, a mother against the daughter, y'all think that started that generation?
Right.
Go ahead. This started with the man he gave the promise to. Go ahead, bro.
And he hastened and took a hatchet in his hand and came unto the chamber of the gods, and he broke all his father's gods. And when he had done breaking the images, he placed a hatchet in the hand of the great God which was there before them, and he went out. And Terah his father came home, for he had heard at the door the sound of the striking of the hatchet. So Terah came into the house to know what this was about. And Terah, having heard the noise of the hatchet in the room of images, ran to the room to the images, and he met Abram going out. And Terah entered the room and found all the idols fallen down and broken, and the hatchet in the hand of the largest, which was not broken, and the savory meat which Abram his son had made was still before them. And when Terah saw this, his anger was greatly kindled, and he hastened and went from the room to Abram. And he found Abram his son still sitting in the house. And he said to him, what is this work that thou hast done to my gods? And Abram answered Terah his father, and he said, not so, my lord, for I brought savory meat before them, and when I came nigh to them with the meat that they might eat, they all at once stretched forth their hands to eat before the great one had put forth his hand to eat. And the large one saw their works that they did before him, and his anger was violently kindled against them. And he went and took the hatchet that was in the house and came to them and broke them all. And behold, the hatchet is yet in his hand, as thou seest.
So is Abraham lying to his daddy about what happened? He like, look, they did that, I didn't do that. But the whole point is to show him where his folly is at. It's Proverbs 26:4-5. Don't answer a fool in his folly. But the next verse, answer in a fool in his folly so that he don't get wise in his conceit. Abraham was only, basically, you don't want to call a lie, he was playing a game with his father telling him they eat, they drink, they gods. But yet his daddy, Abraham, would tell him, yeah, your gods did all that work. You know them ones that eat regular food like we do? Read on some more, man.
Verse 41. And Terah's anger was kindled against his son Abram when he spoke this. And Terah said to Abram his son in his anger, what is this tale that thou hast told?
What's this lie you talking? See, this older people call it a tale. Boy, don't you stand there and tell no tale in front of me. Go ahead, bro.
Thou speakest lies to me.
Thou speakest what?
Lies to me. Is there in these God's spirit, soul, or power to do all thou hast told me? Are they not wood and stone? And have I not myself made them? And can thou speak such lies, saying that the Lord God that was with them smote them? It is thou that didst place the hatchet in his hand, and then sayest he smote them all. And Abram answered his father and said to him, And how can thou then serve these idols, in whom there is no power to do anything? Can those idols in which thou trustest deliver thee? Can they hear thy prayers when thou callest upon them? Can they deliver thee from the hands of thy enemies? Or will they fight thy battles for thee against thy enemies? If thou shouldest serve wood and stone, which can neither speak nor hear. And now, surely it is not good for thee, nor for the sons of men that are connected with thee, to do these things. Are you so silly?
Are you so what?
Silly, so foolish, or so short of understanding that you will serve wood and stone and do after this manner?
So was he talking rough to his father? He just asked him a question. You just said they can't eat or they drink, and you said they was God. I'm not lying. I'm just saying what you said. You said they was God, and I said they ate food and bust the other ones up. So who lying, me or you? How you gonna point the finger at me? And you started off with this lie. I'm just talking about the same lie you talking about.
His father knew that they weren't gods. Because he's like, look, I made one of them.
Yeah.
I made them. You see what I'm saying? So it was a good setup, if you want to call it that, because Abraham's response would be, then how are we worshiping them then?
Spiritual war.
Like, how do we worship them if they can't eat, smell, see, talk, hear, or even walk? How do you worship what you made? You feel me? It's backwards. That's why the Most High said he's jealous. Like, how do you sweat over something, and you feel me, and then get your kneecaps dusty bowing to it? You made that.
Right. You finished that?
Yeah, well,
we can hold that. Yeah, we can hold it. Y'all read the rest of it, y'all. All we want y'all to do is understand once again, where do I start? You start with the arm of God and his law. See, everything that goes against that is telling you against that. Don't do the law. You have no protection during the law. Well, all you're going to be left is idol worship. Please understand Ephesians 6. This is spiritual. That's the armor we have to be clothed with. The clothing of the Spirit. The breastplate of righteousness. The helmet of salvation. Feet shod with the preparation of the gospel. Ready to go walk and take this somewhere else. And loins girded with truth.
That's right.
See, Peter talk about gird the loins of your mind with truth, as well as down here. Why? Because that truth is what caused us the problem in the Garden of Eden. And then he had to cover them. What part did he cover? Y'all know what part he covered. He covered the part to show them where your sin is at. This was caused y'all problems. The first commandment, Satan made y'all go left field. Be fruitful and multiply. First thing he told Noah getting off the boat. Everything is good. Go do what? Be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth. What did Ham do coming out of salvation? Noah got high on his own supply. He was a husbandman, planted a vineyard. Yeah, just one more sip, dog, just one more. Was out. Same thing happened with Denzel Washington, the devil in a blue dress. Got his partner drunk. Him and the other one went in another room and uncovered his nakedness. Habakkuk 2:15. Woe be to the man that giveth his neighbor the bottle to drink, that he may uncover his nakedness. It ain't him looking at his neighbor's body naked. His wife is his. She belonged to him. He's the head of her. To uncover that nakedness they talking about. Like Leviticus 18 says, do not approach thy father's brother's wife to uncover his nakedness. Who is your father's brother's wife? Huh? So what is what?
Have relations with.
With who? With your auntie. That's what it means to uncover one nakedness. So y'all, where do I start? Start with belief first. I got to believe everything written in here to get my understanding. And it ain't going to be like regular books. I'm going to have to take my time and go through this. Y'all had a whole list of things, and we only got through this in 4 hours. 3.5 hours, we ain't even cracked the surface yet.
We can continue next week, bro. You know what I'm saying? We got to.
So, y'all, yeah, this is what we're talking about. Where do I start? Understanding right and wrong. If you don't want to accept wrong when you see it in the Bible, that's what I do. Oh, no, not it. I was with you to the law, but you and the law are tripping. What's wrong with a man having a child? That's what the Catholic priest asks. What's wrong with serving other gods? Ain't nothing wrong with that. What's wrong with a little catfish? Let's see what's wrong with it. Ain't no need in you fussing and arguing about it. Let's see what's wrong with it.
That's right.
Close out with that, man. Isaiah 66 and 15, y'all. This will kill all of the he ordained anything unclean. Just kill it with that, man. Isaiah 66 and 15, this is the second coming. When you start off asking, do you believe in the second coming? First thing they're going to ask you, are you crazy? Yes. I'm waiting on Jesus, and when Jesus comes, I mean, they're looking for something. But let's see what they're going to find if they saying the law is done away. Go ahead, man. I'll read some of that.
Book of Isaiah, chapter 66, verse 15.
What it say?
It says, for behold, the Most High will come with fire, and with his chariots like a whirlwind.
Is that the first or second coming, y'all? Go ahead.
To render his anger with fury and his rebuke with flames of fire. For by fire and by his sword will the Most High plead with all flesh. And the slain of the Most High shall be many. 17. They that sanctify themselves.
Do what?
Sanctify themselves.
Sanctifying yourself is when you let come out of your mouth, I know I'm saved. Sanctified and filled with the Holy Ghost. I'm saved. Did the Lord tell you that? Go ahead, man.
And purify themselves in the gardens, behind one tree in the midst.
The preacher.
Eating swine's flesh.
Doing what?
Eating swine's flesh. And the abomination. And the mouse.
See, the Most High say swine is just like a mouse. If it's okay to eat swine, then it's okay. Why is all this good meat being thrown away caught in them traps?
The Chinese is on to something.
See, they own to something.
They own to something.
It should be no problem. That Sunday doctrine, you go in there and I'll have some rat fried rice and Napoleon tails and the Most High says it's the same thing as a mouse. I mean, as a swine. He said they're in the same family. What else to say, man?
And the abomination and the mouse shall be consumed together, saith the Most High.
So, y'all, we got a problem if Act 10 somebody teaching it wrong. Because if it ain't a problem now, it's going to be a problem with who you waiting on.
Hey, Trip, though, you see how convenient, or how slick that doctrine is?
Yeah.
Because all you got to do is just keep reading. You feel me? And inquiring minds, you being curious growing up, naturally you would have kept reading.
Yeah.
You feel me? Like that's a very slick doctrine to hurry up and close the book. Hurry up and close the book and leave you with an understanding that abomination has been blessed now. You feel me? That's a slick doctrine. Now, where is that from? Because even when you were young, you was curious. You feel me? You keep reading.
Right.
To get your understanding on it. But to close the book up real quick and have everybody believing that God has blessed abomination. I don't think God would do that to me because I'm eating that. That's the problem. See, the scriptures say, lean not to your own understanding. This ain't about what you think and feel. It's about what thus saith the Most High. And either we gonna be obedient to our Father or not.
And guess who they become obedient to? The other creature, the doctor. When he gives you a new diet, what is off the diet? The white meat is gone. He say you can't keep eating this. It's killing you. And you come home sad. But guess what he also say? If you can't stop, this will help you break it down for about a day or two, and then that's going to catch up with you. And then I'm going to have to write another one. And then I'm going to have to write another one. And then I'm going to have to write another one. All you have to do is take this prescription, and you won't have to take these 10 prescriptions. Because by law, the doctor is ordered to give you what before he give you a prescription? He give you what you taking in. Stop eating that and eat this. And your problems will go away. They told me you was a good doctor. Big Mama smothered pork chops and onions and gravy is no more. They're no more, man. I ain't coming back to you. Just give me that prescription.
What you want the prescription for then?
So I can keep into my law breaking, because I don't like it when you tell me what I can't eat. And we had that Omar, the first thing he say is, watch out for a coat. The first thing they're gonna do is tell you what you can't eat. Then this is a coat to him. The very thing he holding his hand tell you what you can't eat. So who the liar? What the matter, Boopy?
Y'all look back and run the house, bro. I'm telling you.
Y'all, we're gonna close out. Anybody got any questions or concerns before we close out? Any questions, y'all?